Good evening, everyone. Hello and welcome along to the Sports Corner. We are back for some darts. That's right, the Premier League of Darts is back, and on a day which has rocked the world of sport and football specifically. There's no mention of the Super League in here because the only league that is super in the world of sports right now is the darts, and that is indeed what's coming up with some brilliant games throughout the evening in the Premier League. We are back for night number 6 of action, and hopefully you guys are all ready for it because it's going to be an absolutely brilliant night overall. But how are we all doing? Welcome along to the Premier League of Darts watch along. As I said, it is night number 6. And we've had a big break. Well, I'm saying a big break. We had a 10-day break where we had no action going on. But we're back once again. We've got loads of action to come your way and lots of games to get yourselves involved with. And talking about involvement, for the first time on the channel, I am going to give you a little bit of leeway on this one, I think. We are doing something different on our Sports Corner watch-alongs, allowing you guys to get involved with all of the action. But first of all, as I always say, if you are new to the stream, don't forget to leave a like and a subscription. We have got, well, pretty much Premier League Darts watch-alongs every single day throughout the entirety of the tournament. But I hope you guys had a good break and you had a nice 10 days to sit back, relax, enjoy whatever's going on in the world right now. I know if you're in the UK, you've been able to go back to pubs and get yourselves in the spirit again. But we have got darting action and a big chance for you guys tonight to maybe win some cash. For the first time on the channel, we are doing the Premier League of Darts Super 6. Now, what this basically means is you guys can get involved with a chance to win yourself some cash. Now, as you can see on the screen, I would highly recommend getting these in. I am going to give a little bit of leeway here because we have started a little bit later on in the night. But specifically speaking, all you need to do is put your predictions in the chat for the 6 games tonight. That is your predictions for the scores. And also your sudden death answer, which is basically how many 180s you'll think we get in the entire session. And the prize pot tonight is £5. Now, look, not a great deal right now. However, there is a twist in the tale, my friends, because what will happen is if nobody wins the prize tonight, it's a rollover. It'll go up to £10 tomorrow. If nobody wins it the day afterwards, we go up to £15. And then, of course, the last night, which is Judgment Night on Thursday, might even have a chance to win yourself 20 quid in the bank. So if you do want to play along very simply tonight, put your predictions in for the 6 games, your sudden death answer, and because I'm lenient, you have until 7:25 tonight to put your predictions in. So that is another about 15 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes to put your predictions in. And if you get them right tonight, you will win yourself £5. Or, if nobody gets it right, we'll be coming back tomorrow with a prize pot of £10. And it'll keep going up as the Premier League of Darts continues this week. But hopefully, as I said, you all had a good break. Seeing you guys in the chat, it's good to see you already. Reese saying, in for some darts, boys. Let's go. How are we doing, Reese? Hope you're good as always. Ben Lawson, let's go. I'm watching you. Do you have your drink ready? Josh, I do. 4 cans primed and ready tonight. As Daz is in the building, he's put, evening, Josh. How are you doing today? I'm doing fantastic indeed. Thank you very much. Cal's in the building. He's put, hey, Josh, how are you? I'm doing very good indeed. John Kenny's in the building as well. Good to see you as always, my friend. And then Chris is in the building. Hi, mate. Hope you're well. I'm not with the nonsense going on. No doubt we'll be talking about that pretty much all night long. But, well, we've got games to go tonight. There's all the stuff going on in the world of football, but we're going to put that to the side for now. We'll talk about that a little bit later on because we do have 6 quality games to come to this evening. However, it has been quite a while since we watched the action previously that took place on night number 5. So for you guys at home, maybe you forgot what happened about 10 days ago. This is what happened on night number 5. It was a good night. After a 10-day break in the Premier League of Darts, we are back once again for more action as we enter night 6 of the Premier League. And for those of you that maybe don't remember what happened a few days ago, this is a rundown of what happened on night 5 of the Premier League of Darts. And we start off with the first game of night 5, which saw Gary Anderson in a 4-7 defeat to the ferret, Johnny Clayton, and it was a pretty okay game. I wouldn't say it was an amazing one. It was a 99.11 average for Johnny Clayton and a 95.54 average for Gary Anderson. And as we've said multiple times before, Gary Anderson not really turning up in this competition so far. He finds himself lingering towards the bottom two. As for Johnny Clayton, he has started this competition in fine style, and he'll be hoping he can continue in the same manner. Game number 2 of night 5 saw Peter Wright coming up against Rob Cross, and two players that are lingering towards the middle section of the league, and I've got to say they've both done pretty good so far, and it was a really enjoyable match, this one. Peter Wright coming out as a 7-5 winner. He averaged 100.94 in comparison to the 95.43 that Rob Cross averaged. But when you look overall, checkout success, Rob Cross got a 62.5% checkout success in his game. As for Peter Wright, he got 43.75%. And overall, highest checkout of the night for Rob Cross was a 118. It was a pretty good game overall. And if you're looking at both players, I think both players in the first 5 matches will be thinking, maybe we've got a chance of making it through to the top 4 in the semi-finals, but we'll have to find out as this competition continues on. Game number 3 of the night was an absolutely brilliant match between Nathan Aspinall and Michael van Gerwen, which ended 6-6. And when you look at how Nathan Aspinall has started this tournament, he feels like a seasoned veteran, and let's not forget, he's only been in this competition for 2 seasons now. But this was definitely the game of the night by a country mile. Both players averaging really well, 105.38 for the Asp and a 99.71 for Michael van Gerwen. And when you look across the board, the checkout successes both played a really good part in the match, with over 54% for both players, the highest success being the Asp with a 66.67 checkout success. As for the checkouts in general, both averaging 2 ton pluses, 148 for Michael van Gerwen and a 1-2-1 for Nathan Aspinall. It was a brilliant game indeed, and just how far can the Asp go in the Premier League this season? It was detrimental that James Wade got himself 2 points on the board in the final night of action from the first phase of games, and that's exactly what he did. But it wasn't in convincing fashion against Glen Durrant, who finds himself with 0 points on the board. As for Durrant, he averaged 87.69 in the game, but James Wade didn't do himself any favours, averaging 90.82. However, his checkout success of 50% was fantastic, with a highest checkout of 152. Look, it wasn't a vintage performance from James Wade at the very least, but he got himself 2 points on the board. He finds himself in a much better position to maybe squeeze into that top 4 for the Premier League. As for Glen Durrant, still 0 points on the board. Can he finally get some on the board before the end of Judgment Night? We'll have to find out. And then the last game of night number 5 saw 2 of the new Premier League debutants coming up against each other for the first time in the competition. Dimitri van den Bergh in a 7-3 loss to the special one, Jose de Souza. And I think if you have to look over the last few nights of action, Jose de Souza is by far looking, in my opinion, the best player in the competition when you base it on the last 3 nights. He got 104.30 average against Dimitri van den Bergh, who averaged 98.48 himself. But the special one, with a 50% checkout success, I think this is now his 3rd night in a row, technically speaking, where he's averaged over 100. But the real question on everybody's lips is, can Jose de Souza do it in the long term and maybe get himself into the top 4 spots? But that was all the action from night number 5 of the Premier League of Darts. We have 4 nights to come, including that all-important Judgment Night. The question is, who will get off on the right foot in the first set of games today? We'll have to find out in the Premier League of Darts. So let's look at some of the action from night number 5 of the Premier League of Darts. Of course, with it being about 10 days ago, there's a lot to catch up on over the time that we've had the break. We've not probably remembered some of the results that have gone on, but we're actually going to get into the first game here in a minute's time. It's Rob Cross taking on Gary Anderson in game number 1 of the night. Don't forget, for those of you that have just joined and you want to take part, please do put your predictions in the chat now, because you can take part in the Sports Corner Super 6. All you need to do is put your predictions in the chat tonight for who you think is going to win the games. You need to put the scores specifically in the chat to make sure that it's fair for everybody. So obviously, if you're going to put Cross Anderson, if you need to put Cross 7, Anderson 5, for example. Don't just say Rob Cross is going to win. As for your sudden death answer, also please put down how many 180s you think we're going to get in the whole session, just in case somebody has the exact same answer as you. The prize pot right now is only £5. However, it will roll over if no one wins tonight, which means tomorrow it'll be a tenner. Then the day afterwards, 15 quid, then 20 quid, vice versa. So if you want to play along, please, please, please put your predictions in the chat now. You have got 10 minutes left to put your predictions in. This is the only night where I'm going to allow you guys to put them in a little bit later, or else you will not be able to take part. So that is the Super 6 going on. Game number 1, Rob Cross against Gary Anderson, 2 former world champions. And I'm very excited for this game because I think Gary Anderson so far this season has struggled a little bit. I mean, you only look at the actual table right now. Gary Anderson currently sat in 8th place in the league on 5 points, but he's only 2 points away from being top of the league. As for Rob Cross, he's also on 5 points with a better leg difference. But once again tonight, if he was to win, he would jump up into 2nd place. So there is a lot on the line in this game as we do get underway with the first match of the night. It's Rob Cross against Gary Anderson. For those of you that have been putting your predictions in the chat, thank you very much indeed. I know Chris has put his in there. Daz has put his in there as well. I think Ben has put his in. So good to see you guys put your predictions in. But just remember, if you have put down your 180s prediction and you haven't put down the 6 predictions for the matches, then it won't count because you need to put the predictions in there as well. But that's all good as we do get underway with this game. As look, I know a lot of you guys in the chat tonight will be probably watching this maybe instead of the football and stuff. We will talk about the Super League later on. I'm not going to talk about it right now purely because it's one of those subjects which I think a lot of people will have been talking about. And this is a safe spot tonight to sit back and relax and not hear a great deal about it. I think we will do a live stream at some point on the channel doing a debate and talking about it. It might be an hour or 2 hour long stream. But for now, it's all about the darts. And that's what we're here for. As I have cracked open the first can, by the way. As Rob Cross is at 204. Gary Anderson at 207. George Noble is indeed the referee tonight. And I saw that, Daz, you've got some bets on. Do tell us what you've got on in terms of your bets. And if you have bet tonight, who are you betting on to win these games? Because it's a very even night tonight. When you look at the games on the side, Clayton van Bergh, brilliant game that one's going to be. Aspinall Wright, very tough game to call. Cross and Anderson, both on the same points. It is a tricky game. Tricky night, to predict. And I have gone, if you're wondering what I've bet tonight, because I have put one bet on with my £5 free bet. As there's a chance here for a 144 checkout for Rob Cross on double 18, which he's not going to get. But unless Gary Anderson checks out the 126, Rob Cross will be coming back at double 18. But I put one bet on tonight. I had a £5 free bet on Sky Bet. I didn't want to put it on the football because I'm not watching it tonight. So I prefer to obviously put a bet on something that I'm watching. I did put it on every player tonight to get free 180s plus. Never going to happen unless Glen Durrant turns up in fine style. I had highly doubted. But Rob Cross with the first checkout of the evening on a double 18. He takes a 1-0 lead in this match. And look, Gary Anderson for me has to turn up because personally for me it's just been a little bit too long now where he hasn't, especially this year, in all of the competitions, played to the very best what you would expect from Gary Anderson. So I'm hoping maybe that 10-day break might have helped him out just a little bit. And he can get Gary Anderson rocking, or else in my personal opinion, I do think he could be down there fighting with the rest of the pack. And I did actually have my prediction. I was going to show it, but because of time and the fact that I do start at 7:05, so it just gives me a great deal of time to sort everything out. I was actually going to put my prediction on. I think I guessed 7-4 to Gary Anderson, but there were a lot of people backing Rob Cross tonight. And what is a very warm night in the UK. I don't know if anybody else in the UK is feeling it, but it is quite a nice day outside. Very sunny still, even at 7:20 at night. But it's just nice to have a little bit of warm weather. As Rob Cross here at 224. Gary Anderson at 210. And I mean, Rob Cross, if he can get himself onto 7 points, then he's in the perfect position to find himself in the fight for the top 4, which I don't think many people would have expected, as Chris has put Lise Carlisle on tomorrow, which is certainly good news indeed. But I know, as I said, tonight is going to be completely transcended with news about the Super League. As double 13 here for a 119 checkout for Rob Cross, and he doesn't get it. So Gary Anderson will be coming back here with a checkout at 70, treble 10, double 20. She's going to have 2 darts at tops, and he only needs 1 dart. And that is a lovely checkout from Gary Anderson, who checks out the 70. And I've just noticed, I'm pretty sure that this guy on commentary, if you're watching on Sky Sports in the UK, I'm pretty sure this is the guy that does the... Is it the boxing? I know he was on the World Championship commentary, but he's on the Premier League commentary tonight, which is interesting. But good finish there from Gary Anderson. Especially with Cross very nearly having 2 chances in the first 2 legs to get ton plus finishes, as there might be a chance here for the first 180 of the night. And there is the first 180 of the night. Don't forget, and I'll keep saying it, and sorry for those of you that have heard it already about 5 times, if you do want to take part and you've just joined, then do put in the chat, you've got 5 minutes left. You need to put in the predictions for the exact scores of this match, of all 6 matches tonight, as well as the sudden death answer of how many 180s do you think there's going to be in the whole session. You've got 5 minutes left to put your name down. Prize pot tonight is £5. If it doesn't, if it isn't won, it will then go to a tenner tomorrow. So you've got 5 minutes left, and you need to put the exact scores for them down. I know there's been a few predictions in the chat already, so there won't be many tonight. Essentially, in the pot to win, as there's a chance here for Rob Cross to take a 2-1 lead with 2 darts at double 16. First dart misses. He's going to have another chance here. And he's not been too bad in his checkouts. And he does indeed take the lead on double 16 there. 2-1 to Rob Cross. And this is going to be a bit of a tight game, I feel. It's a very tough one. As apparently Russ is there with him, I heard. Yeah, it should be. I mean, I think it might be a case tonight of, or throughout this tournament, that it is just George Noble and Russ Braid doing it. I know I was saying before, I thought what they were going to do with the referees, I thought they were going to flip them round. So for this section or this week, we were going to see Paul Hinks and Kurt Bevins, but obviously not. As Rob Cross is averaging 110, what a start. Gary Anderson only averaging 92. It's not the greatest start in the world from the Flying Scotsman, as there's a chance here for Rob Cross just to take a bit of a lead in this 4th leg. As Daz has put, weird to win. Clayton MVG £1 accumulator. As Gary Anderson sticks in his first 180 of the night. Let's get George Noble on, there we go. And the 2-time world champion gets his average up to 97. And with the way that Rob Cross has been playing so far, he's just going to need to put his average up a little bit more here, because if Rob Cross can keep going around about the 110 mark, he could blitz Gary Anderson in this game tonight. And well, Rob Cross is definitely going to have a chance here to make it 3-1, as Gary Anderson only gets 58. And he's down to 164. Rob Cross at 207. Needs to get himself a few trebles on the board, which he doesn't. So the advantage is back with Gary Anderson at 164, which he's not going to be able to check out. But he will leave himself with 24. So some pressure here for Rob Cross to check out the 149. Otherwise, Gary Anderson will be coming back to make it 2-all in this game. And there might be a chance here for Rob Cross, actually. Treble 19, which he's not going to get. So Gary Anderson will be coming back. But he's going to be under some pressure, as Rob Cross has left himself at 16. So double 12 for Gary. He's hit the double 9, which might be a happy little accident. 2 darts at double 3 now. First dart misses, but he's got loads of space in the bed. And he uses it very well, Gary Anderson there. He hits the double 3. And that double 9 turns into a happy little accident for Gary Anderson, who makes it 2-all in this game. And in terms of the actual checkout success so far, Rob Cross is at 50%. Gary Anderson is at 40%. So not bad at all, as we've got 2 more minutes left for you guys to get yourself into the Super 6. As it stands, it's a very, very small amount of people taking part tonight. So it's very likely that the prize is probably going to roll over, depending on what happens. But we'll have to see. As I said, if you do want to play it, then very, very quickly, you've got 2 minutes left. You need to put the exact predictions for all 6 games tonight with the scores, and then how many 180s in the whole session. You've got a minute left. As Gary Anderson's average just starts to creep up a little bit here. He's up to 99.58. Rob Cross at 111. Chance for a 180 here, which he's not going to go for. But he is down to 86. And this is a very good start to the night from 2 players. They're in fine form. Well, I'm saying fine form. In decent form as Gary Anderson smacks in third 180 in this game. That's the second for Flying Scotsman, who is certainly starting to come back in this match. As Rob Cross needs to check out the 86 here. He's got treble 18, double 7, which he's not going to get as he hits a 1 with his second dart. A very loose one. So Gary Anderson now with a chance to take the lead for the first time in this game on double 8. First dart is really wide. Second dart is much closer. Third dart is even better because it's in the bed. And Gary Anderson takes the lead for the first time in this match. And Rob Cross, he might be averaging 111 right now. But Gary Anderson's finishing is much better. And most importantly, it was the loose dart from Rob Cross, which caused him to ultimately lose that leg there. As you now start to feel like maybe that just might allow Gary Anderson a chance to get into this match. He's now averaging 101, the Flying Scotsman. And this is the perfect way to start the night, as you would expect from 2 world champions. And Rob Cross might find himself here in a bit of a precarious position as Anderson is down to 261 after 6 starts. Rob Cross at 442 here. And very, very nervous, isn't it, in these early stages of the matches, you feel like. As both players desperately try and sprawl to get another leg on the board. If you Gary and make it 4-2, then it's going to be very hard for Rob Cross to get back into it. But if Rob Cross can make it 3-all, then it's going to be tight all the way. But look, Gary Anderson needs points here, because the real worry tonight is, especially with the rest of the pack, if they do get results, the likes of Aspinall, the likes of Clayton and Van Bergh, of course, they're coming up against each other, so one of them is going to get a result. If not, they'll both get a point. But even the likes of Souza and Wade, if one of those 2 pick up a result tonight, there will be a little bit of a gap in the table that starts to build. And this game is already going to set the tone for the night. And I think Gary Anderson has to go out there and get a result. He finds himself 8th in the table. He is on 5 points. So he's on a decent amount of points. But with the way that this league is looking right now, could be very tight indeed. As Gary Anderson with a chance to check out 151 on tops. And just doesn't. Hits the rim of the double 20. And he doesn't get it in the end. But he will be coming back for tops as Rob Cross is back at 186. So a chance for Gary Anderson to take a 2-leg lead in this match. With tops. First dart's a good marker. Is it the 20? It's a third dart double 10, which he's not going to get. And a chance here for Rob Cross to check out 92 to make it 3-all. Treble 20, double 16 needed here. And you just feel like that Gary Anderson has just got to keep a hold of himself. As Daz says, Josh, I just told the guys the likes of Osti. I just told the guys the likes of Osti. Say that again, Daz. Either I've lost the plot or I don't know what you mean. I'm guessing you might have said told the likes of Osti either that I'm on tonight, or you've made the bet, of course. But hopefully the bet does come in for you tonight, as Gary Anderson has 3 darts here at double 10, and he only needs 2. And that's a 4-2 lead for Gary Anderson. He's only 2 legs away from going and guaranteeing himself a point in this first game of the Premier League in the second phase of matches. We will talk about how the rest of the Premier League works in a little bit for those of you that maybe haven't been watching the Premier League so far. Usually we would be sat here on a Thursday night doing this for 17 weeks, but not this time, not this year, as there might be a chance here for Rob Cross to get a 180, which he's not. But a 1-2-1 will leave 3-1-6. As Daz says, I just told him that you're on. You're a legend. God bless you, Daz. Thank you very much. As Gary Anderson here only gets 96, and maybe another chance here for Rob Cross to capitalise if he can get a few trebles on the board. As the averages have just slowly crept down. Rob Cross averaging 102. Gary Anderson only averaging 95 now, which is a stark contrast to the 100+ averages we saw about 2 or 3 legs ago. But Gary Anderson here has got to find himself a few more legs, you feel, in this game. Just keep that lead, because with Rob Cross averaging quite high tonight and having quite a decent success rate as well in his checkouts, he's going to need a few here, as there might be the first chance for a 170. 2 treble 20s and a bull here for a 170 finish, which we're not going to get. And we haven't had a 170, sadly. So we are going to be waiting for that. But Rob Cross now coming here at the 160. 2 treble 20s and a double 20. And he's not going to get that either. So Gary Anderson will be coming back here with a checkout at 110. Needing treble 20, 10 and double 20 for a 5-2 lead. And to put Rob Cross in a real dire position on the night. Gets the 20. Needs treble 20, which he hits a 1 instead. So Rob Cross now with a chance to make it 4-3. He's at 60. With Gary Anderson at 70. 2 darts at tops, and his first dart just a little bit high and awkward, I feel. Rob Cross is going to have to maybe move or shimmy a little bit to find some space. Hits the 20, so he's going to have 1 dart at double 10 here for 4-3. And he doesn't get it. So Gary Anderson coming back here now with a chance to make it 5-2 with treble 20 double 10. Or treble 10 double 20 even. He's going to go down the 15s route. 1 dart at tops, which he gets. And it's a 5-2 lead for Gary Anderson. And in the game where about 5 legs ago, you were sat here thinking Rob Cross could pretty much run away with this. Gary Anderson finds himself in a pretty good position to maybe get himself a lead here as he smashes in a 180 to start his 8th leg of the match. And that's 4 180s in this game. And the 3rd one for Gary Anderson in the match as he starts to look a little bit more lively in this game, as you would expect from a player of his quality. And there'll be no 9-darter chance. Let's not get too greedy. We had 2 very good opportunities which were put away. Technically we had 3 until Dimitri van den Bergh hit the 15 a few days ago. But Dad says, I've also had a little £2 on the football. Liverpool to win. Souza to score any time. Very best of luck. Hopefully it comes off for you. As Rob Cross gets a 140 here. He's going to need to win a few more legs now in this game. And just make sure that Gary Anderson does not get into a rhythm, which he certainly is, as this game continues on. The Flying Scotsman down to 164, with Rob Cross at 224. 2 treble 18s to the 20. We're leaving down at 96. So Gary Anderson here with a chance to make it 6-2 on the night with a 164 finish, which he's not going to get. So Rob Cross will be coming back here at 96. Treble 20, double 18 needed to make it 5-3. Hits the 20, so he's going to need to get another treble for double 8, which he's not going to get. He's hit the 1 again. And that's the second time tonight where Rob Cross has just kind of bottled it in the checkout section of the match. So to guarantee a point here, 16 for the bull, which Gary goes for, and he gets the outer bull instead. So 25, and Rob Cross will be coming back here to make it 5-3 with 2 darts at tops. Big moment in the game you feel here for Rob Cross. And 1 dart is all he needs at tops. And it's 5-3. And Gary Anderson might be thinking to himself now, let's just make sure that Rob Cross doesn't get another leg on the board here, or he's going to get very nervous with both players on a 33% checkout success. Gary Anderson, however, with more chances in this game to check out than Rob Cross. As Chris says, I'm watching the darts instead tonight. They've betrayed me and other Liverpool fans. And as I said, it'll be a conversation which we will have probably a little bit later on tonight. I am going to... I don't want to say too much. The only reason why is, as I said, I want to do a live show on it, a live stream, do a debate, see if we can get some extra people in, fans maybe, to talk to about the whole Super League as such. But I will say my opinion on it later on, but I want to preserve it a little bit because we might have some potential for a live stream at some point. As Keane's in the building. How are you doing, my friend? Hope you're all good. Welcome back to the darts. As Rob Cross here with a chance to hit a 180. And does. That's now 5 180s in this game. 3 for Gary Anderson, 2 for Rob Cross. And I still need Rob Cross to hit another one in this game for my bet. But treble 18, double 20 here. For Rob Cross to make it 5-4. And make it very interesting. He's not going to be able to check out here. So, Gary Anderson at 165. And Rob Cross at tops, which he will be coming back for. And if he can make it 5-4 here, Gary Anderson might just be able to, might find himself in a precarious position here. Let's find out what happens. 3 darts at tops for 5-4. Big moment in the game. And a big moment is indeed, because it is 5-4. And that is brilliant. As Carl says, I asked Carl yesterday, would you like any of the links? He said, would I mind adding to it? I said, no problem. So in case you don't, I'll be adding the Twitter link from now on, just for you would know. Thank you, Kyle. You're a legend. God bless your soul. That's how you do it. Hard-working mod. Legend. As Dad says, I'm watching the darts, got flash score on my phone for the football. Well, it wasn't tempting, but I really, really, really wanted to watch Monday Night Football tonight, just to hear what Carragher and Neville had to say on the whole Super League situation. And no doubt tonight, probably Monday Night Football will be one of the most watched Monday Night Footballs there's been in some time, just because of everything going on with the Super League as such. But it's all about the darts tonight. We've got no problems in the darts. We don't have none of these issues, do we, with Super Leagues? I mean, the only worries and quibbles we have is whether the Premier League should have contenders or not. As Rob Cross is at 350 here. Gary Anderson at 201. One more leg on the board for Gary. And it'll guarantee him a point. But Rob Cross here is fighting very hard to get himself back into this game and make it 5 apiece. As Gary Anderson tries to fill up the treble 20 bed and gets 100 to leave himself down at 101. So Rob Cross here going to need to get quite a big score on the board to get himself into checkout territory. Really needs a treble here, which he doesn't get. And the advantage here to Gary Anderson to make it 6-4 with a 1-on-1 checkout. Gets the 1, so treble 20, double 20 needed. And he gets it, and that's brilliant from Gary Anderson. And a cheeky little smile on the face of the Flying Scotsman, who guarantees himself a point in the first game of the night. And that was a brilliant checkout as Rob Cross smacks in a 180, and that's my bet for now, still on the board, which is good indeed. And we're now up to 6 180s in the match, 3 apiece in this game. But good response here from Rob Cross to smacking the 180 after the 101 finish from Gary Anderson. Got to keep himself in the game here. And he does very well indeed. He's down to 228 after 6 stars. Gary Anderson here finds himself at 276. So the advantage is with Rob Cross to maybe make it 6-5 here. And if he could get a point, it'd be a really big point for both players. I think a bigger point for Rob Cross than it would be Gary Anderson. Especially with how Rob Cross has had to fight back in this game. But it's been a good game overall, this one. As Gary looks to fill up the 180 bed and does. But he doesn't get a 180, a 140 will do instead. He's down to 136 with Rob Cross at 128. So a chance here to make it 6-5 in the game, which he's not going to get. So all Rob Cross can do is send himself up here, which he does. He leaves double 18. And Gary Anderson now with a chance to seal the deal. 2 treble 20s, double 8. Gets 1. Doesn't get another. So Rob Cross will be coming back here for double 18. And a chance to make it 6-5 in this game. Which would make this very interesting. Going into the next leg. And it will be very interesting indeed as he puts the double 18, his dart right into the top right hand corner of the double 18 bed. And it's 6-5. And Gary Anderson now has got to win the next leg to take all 2 points home. Or Rob Cross will seal a very vital point at this stage of the Premier League of darts. There is on you doing it tonight, Josh. You'll have to put that again, Daz. There is on you doing it tonight. I don't know what that means, I'm not going to lie. You'll have to put it again. Because I don't know what that says. But Gary Anderson here at 349. Rob Cross at 410. And you can see here the nerves beginning to build as Rob Cross hits a 1-2-1 to leave himself down at 289. Gary Anderson going to have to respond with a few trebles of his own here, which he's not going to. Only hitting 59. And you feel like here, Rob Cross has got a massive chance to make it 6-all and take a point here. In a game which I feel actually Gary Anderson will be looking and thinking now, I should have had all the points on the board. As Cross gets 174 to leave 115. Gary Anderson, though, going to try and respond with a 180, and he does. This is a brilliant end to the game. It's Rob Cross here at 115. Treble 19, 18, double 20 to guarantee a point. Gets a 19, gets 20, so he's not going to be able to check out here. And Gary Anderson now with a chance to seal the 2 points with a 110 check out, which he's not going to get either. And Gary Anderson here is just going to have to try and leave himself in a decent position for a check out, which he leaves 52. So Rob Cross here, a chance to get a point with 56. 2 darts at double 18 for a very, very deserved point, you feel, with how both of these players have played. And he's going to have 1 dart at double 9 here. And he's got to take it. And doesn't. And he hits way wide of the double 9 bed. And now Gary Anderson here with 2 darts at tops for a 7-5 win. 1 dart is a very good marker. And it is a good marker indeed, because the Flying Scotsman gets off to a perfect start in the second phase of games in the Premier League of Darts. And it was a topsy-turvy match with 2 former world champions trying their hardest to get that all-important 2 points on the board as the Premier League of Darts continues on. And it was the Flying Scotsman, Gary Anderson, who got himself those first 2 points on the board in a game where ultimately both players played very well indeed. And you could argue that Rob Cross did deserve something out of that game. But in the end, Gary Anderson holding his nerve at the end. And how crucial could those 2 points be? Because this is how the table looked before the game started tonight. And Gary Anderson, who found himself sat just 1 point above the 2 relegation spots, now finds himself second in the table on 7 points. Rob Cross will move down into 7th with James Wade in 8th. Of course, James Wade playing a little bit later on tonight. And in fact, James Wade will be coming up next against Jose de Souza. And as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, that is the order of play tonight. We just saw a moment ago Rob Cross in a 7-5 defeat to Gary Anderson. Coming up a little bit later on, we've got Jose de Souza coming up against James Wade. That game will be very good. Jose de Souza with the highest tournament average. He's the only player currently averaging over 100 right now. Game number 3 sees the other 2 players with the highest averages in the tournament. That is Johnny Clayton up against Dimitri van den Bergh. Both of those, of course, being debutants in the Premier League. Are they going to get off to a winning start in the second phase of games? Game number 4 sees a struggling Glen Durrant up against Michael van Gerwen. And I'll tell you one thing, if Durrant was to win tonight, that would be the biggest shock of the Premier League this season so far. Especially considering he's on 0 points right now. And then the last game of the night, Aspinall up against Wright. It should be a very, very interesting game, that one. Aspinall playing very well indeed. Peter Wright just not really... well, I'm saying not really being up at the races. He's currently sat 5th, but I think a lot of people probably expected him to be maybe 1st or 2nd up there with Michael van Gerwen. But we will be back in just a moment's time, as we always do in the break. It's a good opportunity to just say to you guys, if you are new to the stream, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription on the channel. It is massively, massively appreciated if you are new, as we are covering the entirety of the Premier League of Darts for the rest of the next 2 months. But if you're not a fan of the darts and you maybe want to see some of the other content we've got coming up on the channel, here's a look at some of the content to come over the next week. It is a very busy week, I'll tell you that for sure. Coming up this week on the Sports Corner, we've got lots of content to come. The Premier League of Darts Night 7 is tomorrow. You can join me live for that. Should be very good indeed. And then we have the Matchday 30 Gold Show in the Bundesliga. You can join the rest of the Sports Corner team for all the action in Germany. Then we have night number 8 of the Premier League of Darts as we get towards what's going to be a very, very exciting night indeed. And that, of course, is night 9, which is Judgment Night, where we'll find out which 2 players will be relegated out of the Premier League. It should be a massive night of action. And then we've got a morning stream. It's going to be with Rowan, Melbourne Victory, taking on Western Sydney Wanderers. That's live from Friday at 10 a.m. And then our first confirmed watch along of the weekend sees Lyon against Lille in the Ligue 1 title race. That's this week on the Sports Corner. So there is a look at the content we've got coming up over the next few days. It is a little bit quieter. We haven't got the Champions League going on. Let's not really talk about that. We know what's going on there. But we have got a few games coming up in the week. Don't forget Bundesliga. We've got all the action from there on Wednesday night. And then, of course, we've got the Premier League of Darts throughout the entirety of the week. So lots of content to come indeed. But without further ado, let's talk over that last game we just witnessed a moment ago. It was Rob Cross up against Gary Anderson. A game which ended 7-5 to the Flying Scotsman. And look, both players, I think, played really well in that game. I think you could arguably, and Stephen said in the chat, he personally thinks Gary Anderson bottled it. Nothing great about that. I would say for me, it was one of those games where it was very topsy-turvy. You know, it started off with Rob Cross averaging around about the 110 mark at one point, and I think you were feeling, especially in the first 2 to 3 legs, that if he could continue that average on, then ultimately he might be able to go out there and win this game quite comfortably. But Gary Anderson, he got himself into the game as it continued on. His average went up around about from the 91 mark to the hundreds. And that just then dipped as the game went on. And when we actually look at the stats for both players, Gary Anderson averaging 94.82 there. As for Rob Cross, he averaged 100.54, which I think in my opinion, and as Stephen said, I think it was one of those games where Gary Anderson could have easily bottled it at the end there and allowed Rob Cross the 6-6 draw. But then I do feel like maybe Rob Cross will be looking himself and thinking, I could have easily had the 2 points. And as I said, 94.82 for Gary Anderson in the game, not his highest average. And when you look at the actual other stats, checkout success, 38.89% for Gary Anderson. That's 7 out of 18 of his doubles. Rob Cross, 38.46%. That's 5 out of 13 at doubles, with the highest checkout of the game being a 101 by Gary Anderson. 4 180s for the Flying Scotsman and 3 180s for Rob Cross. And I feel like in the end, both players will be happy. We've either played in certain parts. Both players will be quite frustrated. We've either played in some parts, but of course the most happy player of the two will be Gary Anderson, because he's got the all-important darts on the board. The points on the board is what I wanted to say. And as I said, as you look at the table, Gary Anderson now up to second. Just shows how tight this league is. He was 8th at the start of the night. He's now in the top 2. Rob Cross, he drops into 8th because of the leg averages. However, James Wade playing next, that could change. And James Wade could find himself at the bottom section of the table as well. As Stephen says, I didn't think Cross would miss the 56. That's why I said he bottled it, thinking he was getting a draw. And the problem for me, I would have to say, with Rob Cross in that game, is I think there was 2 or 3 legs. When he was down to the lower checkouts, there were too many times in that game where he hit the 1 with his first dart, and it just ultimately put him completely off track, because he either couldn't check out because he was in a bit of an awkward position, maybe with a higher checkout, or it just put him off his game for a moment and ultimately allowed Gary Anderson, who was, similarly down at the lower checkouts, to ultimately go and get a checkout himself and take a leg on the board. And I think that's where Rob Cross tonight will be frustrated. The fact that in a lot of the important sections of the match, he did hit lower numbers, that cost him. And he maybe didn't hit a few trebles and doubles that he would have expected to on other nights. But look, at the end of the day, brilliant result for Gary Anderson. He'll be buzzing with that. I usually would change the order of play. I can't tonight. I haven't actually got Photoshop up. And if I do get it up, it will probably crash the stream. Because when my laptop loads it up, it freezes the stream up. And I don't want it to basically lag out and burn tonight. So it will just stay like that, unfortunately. But we will go through all of the games as we continue on in the night. I'll keep you up to date with the scores of them. But let's move on to the next game of the night now. And game number 2 sees James Wade up against Jose de Souza. And this one, for me, is quite an interesting game to watch because Jose de Souza is currently the player with the highest average in the Premier League of darts. He is averaging 100 plus. I think it's about 100.57, which is the highest of any player, and he's the only player averaging the 100 mark. As for James Wade, we know he basically was invited into the tournament because the whole Gerwyn price situation, which we talked about heavily at the beginning of the tournament itself. But look, he came in and he said, I hadn't had much practice. I don't usually do much practice anyway, if I'm being honest with you. But could that actually come back to bite him? Because ultimately, we haven't really seen a great deal from James Wade in this tournament so far. And especially now knowing that Gary Anderson's got himself a win tonight, he's going to be under some pressure to get a result. But Jose de Souza is not the easiest player to play in the world, is he? Especially when the debutant has finally got his first win on the board. But Daz has asked me in the chat, who do you think will get relegated, Josh? Which is a pretty good question, actually. Hopefully it's not lagging. Have we got some lag? I'm just going to check the stream for a second. Alright, stop lagging. There we go. I don't know what was going on there. If we had a little bit of lag, I do apologise for that. As I said, sometimes when I go on the to change stuff around, it does lag a little bit. So I do apologise if it does lag at certain sections of the stream. But in terms of who I think is going to get relegated, I obviously we know Glen Durrant's one of them. There's no way he gets out of it now, I feel. I think Wade will be the other one. I'm not going to lie. I think Wade will be the other one. And I think for Gary Anderson, he needs to make sure he gets a good run going or else he could be down there. Which is mad to say considering he's second right now. But his form can be a little bit topsy-turvy at times. But look, I'm going to go Wade and Durrant to be the two relegated. And I guess at this stage we already know that one of them is going down anyway. But look, as I said, throughout the entirety of the Premier League of Darts, I have been doing my predictions for the games before the tournament. Now, as you will know, I made all my predictions for nights 1 to 5 before the tournament started. What I've done this time is I made my predictions a few days ago for these games with a little bit of background knowledge from the first 5 nights. So here's a look at my prediction for Jose de Souza, James Wade. And as always, do put your predictions in the chat for this one. I'd be interested to know what you guys have picked out for this game. Game number 2 now of the night sees Jose de Souza up against James Wade. And this one's quite an interesting game overall because somehow Jose de Souza has only got himself, I think, 4 points on the board so far in this Premier League. And considering 3 back-to-back-to-back games he's averaged over 100, you would have thought he'd been up there with the rest of the pack. And he's only a few points off, but James Wade as well had a big win against Glen Durrant, and although it was, let's be honest, a fairly easy opponent to play against in those opening matches, it was very detrimental that James Wade got those points on the board to allow him to be with the rest of the pack. And I'm not going to lie, I said a few days ago on stream, I sat there and I said I don't think Jose de Souza can win this competition because of his miscounts and things like that. But what I do think he can do is go and get a win against James Wade tonight. James Wade will have had some time to practice now. Those 10 days, I think he will have properly maybe practiced a little bit more than some others have, especially knowing that he's had that extra time, maybe to spend time with his family and, of course, get on the dartboard a little bit. So I do think he will have practiced maybe more than he'd like to admit. But I think Jose de Souza is going to win this one 7-4. Going to be a tight one once again, I think, but I don't expect many draws at this stage of the competition, especially as we get closer and closer to Judgment Night, with a lot of these players fighting for survival. But I'm going 7-4. What's your prediction? Tell us in the chat as always, and hopefully, if Josh is listening on, as he usually does, he might stick with the prediction that he made. I want to say very quickly, I don't know what's going on tonight. I do apologise if we're having lag issues. I don't know what's going on. Usually the connections here is fairly alright. I don't know whether it's the case of tonight. It's just done it on purpose because this stream is going on. But if there are a few lag issues, I do massively apologise about that. I don't know why it's lagging in some certain places tonight. But hopefully it doesn't lag too much and we can get through this stream. Because look, technology can be an absolute... annoyance is the word I'm going to go for. I'm trying not to swear as much. An annoyance technology can be. And hopefully it doesn't lag too much. But if it does, give me a heads up. And then if it keeps lagging bad, then maybe we might have to call it quits early, which is very annoying. But look, I'm not going to call it quits because we've got a game going on our hands in a second. Jose Souza taking on James Wade. Let's hope that this game is good. Yere going in the chat, he thinks Souza's going to win. Van den Bergh's going to win later on. Michael van Gerwen wins and Peter wins. And then Kevin DV is in the building. He's put 7 for Michael van Gerwen. So I've got a feeling he thinks that Michael van Gerwen is going to whitewash Glen Durrant tonight, which I think a lot of people will predict in. As Dimsky is in the building. How are we doing, my friend? He's put weird 7-5-ish. How are we doing? Oh, you're good, Dimsky. Welcome along to the madhouse. But yeah, both players coming out onto the hockey for this game. And look, I think this is one of those games where I have a feeling James Wade will have been practicing. I'm not going to lie. I think he will have been practicing overall. And it's Kurt Bevins. There we go. For the first time, we get to see Kurt Bevins in the Premier League this season. But I think he will have been practicing at home. He said before the tournament started that he hadn't had much time to practice because he wasn't expecting it. And he doesn't practice much anyway. But look, I personally feel that Wade, especially over the last few days, will have been practicing at home to make sure that he can get himself maybe into the top 4 of the Premier League, because he can do it. He's world number 4. You would expect him to be in the top 4 by the end of this competition, but you never know. That's the special thing with darts, and especially with how the Premier League has been so far. It is certainly anyone's game and anyone's top 4 spot. But we're about to get underway with this game. Chris saying this game could end either way, which it certainly could. But if Jose Souza continues on what he did in the last 3 games, and averages over 100, then I definitely think Jose Souza could win this game and have another 100+ average. But let's find out. As I said, please do give me a heads up tonight if it keeps lagging. If it keeps lagging bad, as I said, I might have to just end the stream early tonight and hope that tomorrow is a better day. But for now, I'm going to keep rolling on. Tell me if it gets bad, and I'll see what I can do. Maybe beat up the internet service provider that we've got. But let's get underway with the night's second game. Jose Souza against Wade. Kean going for 7-5 to Wade against Souza. And Kyle says he'll be back in a few minutes or more. No 9 darters, okay. Well, I can't promise you that, Kyle. But what I can promise you is that this game should be a good one. The master of finishing up against the highest scorer in the Premier League so far this season. Jose Souza's Premier League debut is starting in fine style. And this, apparently, according to one of the commentators, is the game of the night, which I think is certainly up there as a shout indeed for game of the night. But look, I think Clayton van den Bergh will be the game of the night, or Aspinall Wright. But let's hope that this is a barnstormer. As Dad says it's okay here, Josh, which is perfect. It just keeps coming up on my screen saying it's lagging, which is why I'm like, I don't want it to lag. Last thing we need is lag. I'm trying to do this for work. Last thing I need is any lag stopping the streams. As we do get the first leg fully underway here. James Wade gets himself a 140 to leave 246. Do keep me up to date as well tonight in the chat with the score for the Liverpool-Leeds game. That game's going to be an interesting one. Take out all of the shit going on in the world of football right now. I think Liverpool definitely need to go out there and win it. Although saying that, if Leeds win, they're certainly up there within a shout of maybe getting the Conference League, which would be massive for Leeds if they could get it. But D'Souza here at 110. James Wade gets a 140 and leaves himself down at 106. So a chance here for a ton plus finish for Jose D'Souza. He's going to have 1 dart at double 16 after hitting the treble 18. He's going to go 10 tops instead. And it's the right decision. As Jose D'Souza gets himself a 110 checkout. As Daz says, he's Wayne Mardle and Colin Lloyd in the commentary box, which is indeed as James Wade starts off with a 140 in the second leg. As Cal says, scratch that. Don't actually need to leave. Apologies about that. Never apologise, my friend. Never apologise. Oh, I've lost a part of my headphone. Look at that. Let me see if I can find it. 2 seconds. Oh, that's going to be a nightmare. Nothing's worse than losing a section of your headphone now, isn't it? That's not going to be fun to find. I'll find that later on, I think. As we have a 180. Get Kurt Bevins out. That's the first time we've had a 180 in this game. And James Wade, who's not actually hit many 180s in the tournament so far, gets his first one on the board in this game. And hopefully, the next time there's a prediction on, I'm going to scrounge around the vicinity and find where part of my headphone has gone, because I have lost it. I've literally just got that right now, and I don't think having it like that is the greatest idea in the world, is it? So James Wade here at 140. Jose De Souza all the way back at 319, so a chance here for Wade to make it one leg a piece in this game. And do you know what, tonight, I think all of these games, apart from the Durrant one, could have easily ended 6-6, in my personal opinion. We could have had another night where we have 4 draws. I think Cross Anderson was very even. De Souza Wade is even. Clayton van Bergh's even. Aspinall Wright is even. I'd say Durrant van Gerwen's even, but on another day, I think even if Durrant was playing at his highest level, Van Gerwen would always be the favourite to win a match of that quality. You're not any spare. I mean, I only need one headphone right now. I don't ever tend to have 2 in. As James Wade does check out the 80 to make a 1-1 game. But I only ever tend to have one headphone in. Because my problem is, if I have 2 in, I feel like I'm just shouting then. Because I can't hear myself. Because I usually have the commentary on as well. Just so I've got something to listen to. But yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to put 2 in because I'll just start shouting loud, and that's not what you want. Although saying that, I did shout when we had 2 9 darters, so that went out the window, did it? I found it. I found it. 2 seconds. Wow. That was an easy game of hide and seek. I found it. That sorts out the headphone problem at the very least. As we are now into the 3rd leg of this game. It's 1 apiece in this match. And I've solved my problems. There we go. Nice and easy. But I think Jose De Souza tonight needs to make sure he does go out there and preferably puts in another 100 plus average performance and gets the win. Because Jose De Souza, for me, I haven't actually even looked at the table, which I'll show you now. Jose De Souza currently finds himself in the bottom 2 on 4 points. And I think it's absolutely detrimental tonight that he does get points on the board, or else it will be a gap starting to build. As for James Wade, he could go into 2nd or 3rd place, which would not be bad at all for James Wade, in a league where I think nearly everybody's going to be on 7 points already, which is bonkers. But James Wade with a chance here. At a 161 checkout to make it 2-1 in the game. He's hit treble 1, so he's not going to be able to check it out, but he will be coming back. As Jose De Souza is at 190. As Chris says, Josh waking people up with his shouting. Well, do you know what? The good thing is where I'm situated in the building, there's nobody about. Like nobody, but both sides technically lives near me. However, next year, I think I am going to be in a position where there's people living both sides. So they're just going to have to get used to the fact that if a 9-darter happens, I am going to scream and shout. I'm not changing the way I am for anyone. They're just going to have to accept I'm going bonkers for the darts. And they'll probably think I'm loony. But 52 checkout here for De Souza. 2 darts at tops for a 2-1 lead, which is what he gets. And the special one takes the lead in this game. And I think, once again, this will be a topsy-turvy game. As James Wade here looks for a 180 and gets a 140. With both players at 50% minimum plus on their doubles. 50% for Wade, 100% for Jose De Souza. As both players start off with a 140, now 100. As Dad says, Wright uses his World Championship ones tonight. Or the ones he beat Cross with. You know what Peter Wright's like. He'll be changing his darts all the time. That's what we know and love him for. But James Wade here, 2-2-1. After 6 darts. Can Jose De Souza get a 180 and match up? He's got 2 perfect darts. And a 180 is what he gets. And that's not what I wanted to put up. I thought I got Kurt Bevins up there. We've got 2 180s in the match. And that's the first one in the game for Jose De Souza. But James Wade will respond with a 140. And he's down to 81 here. Jose De Souza going to have to try and get a few more trebles of his own here. Which he's not going to get. So James Wade with a chance to make it 2-2 in the game. As Jose de Souza just tries to get a treble here and doesn't. Only 26. So James Wade here, treble 19, double 12 for a 2-2 match. Gets the 19. Gets treble 14, which means he'll go for double 10 and gets it. And that's a very nice finish there from James Wade as he makes it 2-2 in this match. And a very nice start to this game indeed as Alfie Davies is in the building. How are you doing, my friend? But hi, nice stream. Thank you very much, Alfie. Massively appreciated. I hope you are enjoying the darts tonight. Got some very good games going on, of course, throughout the rest of the evening. And if you have enjoyed it, then don't forget to leave a like and a subscription, because it is greatly appreciated. But currently, in terms of the averages, James Wade averaging 103. Jose de Souza averaging 93. So, very similar to the Gary Anderson game. Both players just averaging a little bit. I think if you do Souza, you're averaging a little bit too low here. If James Wade can continue on with 100 plus average, then you would expect him to maybe start running away with this game, especially with how he is at finishing. He's incredible, but he just seems to be hitting 140s left, right and centre right now. As Alfie Davis has asked, who are you supporting this Premier League? Gary Anderson is my man. I'm going to be backing him. I would have backed Aspinall, but I'm going Gary. I love Gary Anderson. And a good win for him tonight as well. But hopefully, and I'm interested to see actually, how many of you guys tonight are here because you don't want to watch the actual Premier League or any football in general? Do tell me in the chat, because I think there'll be so many people watching tonight that aren't watching the football because they're so sick of hearing what's going on. I mean, all the rumours of the Champions League getting suspended, for example, clubs being booted out of the competition, it's bonkers. And I'm very tempted, as I said, to do a live stream on it at some point in the week. It might be like an early morning stream where we sit there and we just talk about the Super League and its positives and negatives. But chance here for de Souza on tops to make it 3-2, which he gets. And both players, so far, very good on finishing. It's a tight one, this. And 100% on doubles right now for Jose de Souza. And you just feel like in a game where Wade might be averaging 10 more points than Jose de Souza, he just needs to make sure he takes every chance he's got. Because the special one is doing very well indeed. Very nice start. As Jose de Souza starts off with 96 here. Both players currently with 180 on the board. As Kin is here for the darts. That's what we like to hear. Not because of the football. That's what we love. The passion of the darts fans. As Jose de Souza here at 405. I am not going to see the chat for a second. My apologies. I have had just a message. So I'm just going to quickly check that a second here. Of course, everything going on in the world right now. Phone does tend to go a little bit mad. But James Wade needs a few trebles. Probably needs another treble 19, which he doesn't get. But in the end here, Jose de Souza is going to find himself in a bit of a tricky position. 170 James Wade is at. Oh, 180 maybe for Jose de Souza. Oh, he gets it. And that's the second 180. Michael van Gerwen, but thanks for the stream, Josh. You are very welcome. God bless all of you for coming into the stream. I'm very grateful for everybody who has come in and decided to jump in here tonight. As I said, I do apologise that I can't show the games. I would love to, if I could. But unfortunately, I can't. But the fact that you guys come in here, you sit back, you relax, you get to sit and watch me drink is fantastic. But chance here for the bullseye finish on 85 for Jose de Souza, which he gets. And that's a brilliant, brilliant finish from de Souza. And I tell you something, his averages might not be as high as what we've seen in the tournament so far. But if he keeps going the way he is, this game is going to be done pretty quickly if he keeps checking out in fine fashion. That's now 4 out of 4 on the doubles. As Alfie Davies has said, I'm Welsh, so I'm supporting Clayton, which is not a bad player to support at all. And Carl's put, I'm here to watch you, Josh, watching you going mental at the darts, and to cheer me up and forget about being a Man United fan for a while. Well, this is the safe spot tonight. I'll probably, as I said, I'll talk about the Super League a little bit, but it's not going to be much because, to be honest, we're not going to have time to talk about it. Because it's all about the darts, and stand up if you love the darts. Who needs the football right now? because we've got a week of this. Beautiful, beautiful sport. I mean, looking at the leg-by-leg averages here, Jose de Souza not having exactly the greatest of games in terms of his legs, but the last 3 legs, he is averaging over the 100 mark. Jose de Souza averaged 107 in leg 5. Currently averaging 125 here in leg 6, but we're only about 3 darts into it. Doesn't really matter to that extent there. But 261 for Wade, 205 to Jose de Souza. And I tell you what, if you are James Wade here, you really need a 180, which he doesn't get, but a 140 will do. And he leaves himself at 121. Jose de Souza will get himself down to check out territory here. But you would expect James Wade to make it 4-3. As Dad says, he's got you on here and football on the radio. Well, it's going to be a mad, mad few weeks, isn't it, in football? I think, were they talking about doing the Super League as early as August or something like that? Mad. Crazy. But if you guys at some point do want to stream where we do talk about the Super League, I think the only problem for me is that's because so many people have talked about it, there's not really many new stances you can have on it. Everybody's in the same position. They don't like it. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I will sit here and say if the tournament does happen, as much as I don't like it, as Wade checks out tops and makes it 4-3 in this game, a lot more even now. But I will sit here and say if the tournament happens, it probably will be something we'll do as watch-alongs on the channel anyway. So I don't want to sit there and complain and whinge and moan about it, because I know in the end I'll probably be covering it at some point as Wade smacks in a 140 to start off the 8th leg. But he must have hit. How many 140s has James Wade hit in this game? He's currently averaging 107.84. Jose de Souza averaging 96.56. But he seems to be hitting the 140s a hell of a lot here, James Wade. And as I said, we're not having many 180s here. We've had 2 for Jose de Souza and 1 for James Wade. But you kind of just feel like here, if James Wade could get himself a few more 180s on the board, he might just find himself in a bit of a better position here. Because Jose de Souza can match him up with the 140s quite well. But Alfie Davis says, do you play darts and are you any good? I do play darts, but I'm absolutely shit at it. I don't play it on a league level. I'm not good enough for that yet. I just sit there and practice in my own time, play a bit in knacker darts. There's might be a chance here for a 180 for de Souza. But he gets a 140 to leave 2-4-3. But the last few weeks, and for those of you that were wondering, you know, we were speaking about for the entirety of the week that I didn't have a dartboard recently, or I did, but it was in an absolute awful state. We now have a new dartboard and some new darts. I'm going to get some Gary Anderson ones soon, as Jose de Souza has a chance to get 180 and does. And Jose de Souza here with a chance to make it 5-3 unless James Wade checks out the 104 here. Needs treble 20. 1 dart at double 12 for 4 all. And just doesn't get it. Hits the top of the double 12, and it's so unlucky. As there's a chance here for de Souza. He hits treble 13. 2 darts at double 12. 1 dart at double 6. And gets it. And that's brilliant from de Souza. And he finds himself 1 leg away from a guaranteed points. And James Wade knows he's in a real scrap here. And there's only 1 dart missed at the double for Jose de Souza, who is having an absolutely stellar match in terms of his finishing. And he might even be able to get a 4th 180 here. And does. So another 180 for Jose de Souza. And as we know, he was one of the players who hit a 9-darter last week. We had 2 of them. One of them from Johnny Clayton, one of them from Jose de Souza, which was certainly a treat for the fans in the first few nights of action, as he hits 4 perfect darts. 5 perfect darts. Not again. Ah, no, it won't be again. I thought we were going to get 6 perfect darts there. He hits the 20 with his last dart, and he will be down to 181 after 6 darts. So, Jose de Souza here in prime position to get himself 6-3 up in this game. As Michael Guthrie says here in Colorado, football starts in September. I thought it was Colorado Rapids. Am I mad? I know the MLS is back on. We've been covering that this week. Brilliant game last night. As Keane says, go Johnny, go. Hoping that Clayton can win tonight. So, Jose de Souza down at 76 here. James Wade really needs a 180. And doesn't get it. Gets another 140. So, chance here for Jose de Souza to make it 6-3. Treble 20, double 8. Gets the treble 20. 2 darts at double 8. Which he gets. And that's 6-3. And surely now, you would be feeling here that Jose de Souza is probably on course to get the 2 points. Unless James Wade wins the next 3 legs on the bounce. But his finishing has been stellar tonight. Really, really good from the special one. And I tell you one thing, I really do kind of feel like I wish I could backtrack on my comments of saying he couldn't win it. Because with the way he's playing right now, he bloody could. He absolutely could. He's now, for me, playing the best darts of the tournament. As he is now averaging over 100. Is there anything Jose de Souza can't do? This man can miscount and still hit a 9 darter in the next leg. So, Jose de Souza now, 1 leg away. Keane saying not my prediction. I assume your prediction will go out the window here, which you did put, I think was it 7-5? 7-5 to Wade. Prediction's gone out the window there. And in fact, looking at these Super 6 predictions, I think they're out the window as well, aren't they? Which is a bit of a shame. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're out the window already. So nobody's going to win the Super 6 already. The Super 6 is dead, which means tomorrow it'll be a £10 prize for the winner. So I get to keep the money in the bank, as I'm greedy. But no, it means Super 6 tomorrow already will be £10 tomorrow. So another chance for you guys to try and win some cash on the board. As James Wade here with a chance to make it 6-4. Treble 20, treble 10, double 20 needed. Gets the treble 10. 2 darts at double 20 and 1 dart is all he needs. And James Wade makes it 6-4. And he's going to need to get 2 more legs on the board here to guarantee a point. Or else Jose de Souza will be coming out with the 2 points and a massive victory, which will put him, I believe, ahead of Michael van Gerwen as it stands. And he will be coming up a little bit later tonight. Next game of the evening being Clayton van den Bergh. For me, probably one of the games of the night. Aspinall Wright as well is an absolute brilliant match. And hopefully we've got some very good games to come. But we will talk about those games a little bit later on. We'll talk about how the Premier League is set up for the rest of the competition and how much action we've got to come over the next week. Because it is a shorter week. We don't have as many nights, unfortunately, as what we did last week. And we'll have a bigger break as well, actually. I think we get a 2-week break when the Premier League is finished for this section. So it'll be even longer without the darts, which is a shame. But let's enjoy what we've got for now. Because this leg is very even. Both players at 301 here. And Jose de Souza might have just allowed Wade a chance to make it 6-5. He's at 244 here, de Souza. Wade at 301. Really needs a treble. And gets one, so 100 for Wade will leave him at 201. And I don't think that'll be enough. Unless Jose gets a few trebles here. Which he gets a treble. Treble 20. Needs another one. And doesn't get it. So de Souza down at 144. James Wade at 201. This isn't too bad. Get a few trebles here, James Wade. And you are in a much better position. Gets treble 25. And a 20. And he's down to 116 here. So what can Jose de Souza do? 2 treble 20s and double 12 to win the match. He goes down the 18s route, which isn't going to work. So Wade will be coming back here. And de Souza only leaves 86. So for me, it'd be a big shot if Wade could take this out. Which he's not going to be able to. So de Souza now, with a chance to win the game on 86. Treble 18, double 16. 54-32 for 2 points. He gets the 18. Gets treble 18. So 1 dart at double 7 for a massive victory. And this is important that he doesn't hit the 7. Which he does. And that means he's going to have only 2 darts to check out Unless James Wade here checks out the double 8 to make it 6-5, which he does. And James Wade now with a chance here to guarantee himself a point in this game and stop Souza de Souza from going to the top end of the pack in the Premier League. Can James Wade salvage a point? He needs one. And desperately. And he started off in awful fashion here. Only gets himself down to 4-1-6, James Wade. Souza de Souza needs a few trebles, and you just feel that this game is slightly simmered out as we've got to the end of it. In fact, when you look at the averages of both players right now, James Wade averaging 102, Souza de Souza averaging 98, so the averages have dropped slightly in this game. As we go down to the last moments of this match, Souza de Souza might get his 5th 180 of the match. It does. And that might be the difference maker in this game. Because that 180 will be of significant importance to this game. And James Wade only gets 60. And surely now, this next leg is in the hands of Souza de Souza. And a chance here to get himself the all-important 2 points on the board. He needs a few more trebles here. He gets one of them and gets another. So de Souza down to 81. Wade back at 256. A 140 or 180 would do. And James Wade will get himself a 140. But is he going to get a chance here? Because Souza de Souza, 81 checkout, treble 19, double 12 for a 7-5 win. Gets the treble 19. And gets it. And that's brilliant. And Souza de Souza with a fantastic performance in a game where his averages, in terms of his average over the tournament, has been incredible. He's averaged over 100 in the tournament so far, and yet again today, Souza de Souza averages over 100 again in the Premier League of Darts. But more importantly tonight, it wasn't about the average; it was all about his checkouts. It was a stellar performance with both players' checkout successes being over 70%. A really decent match to watch, I would say. Again, a game where de Souza very nearly bottled it and allowed James Wade a chance to get a point in this match. But in the end, de Souza is on a run right now. He is doing fantastically well indeed. And he gets himself that all-important second back-to-back win on the board. And that will absolutely bolster him up the table. I think he goes ahead of Michael van Gerwen and Peter Wright, a few other names, before they play tonight. So we'll have to see whether he's still there at the end of the evening. But don't forget, we've got a few more games to come tonight. You'll have seen earlier on, Rob Cross came up against Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson with a 7-5 win in that match. You'll have seen a few moments ago, Souza de Souza in a 7-5 win against James Wade. Very good result for the special one. And then we've still got 3 more games to come tonight. First up, in a few moments' time, the Battle of the Debutants. Johnny Clayton and Dimitri van den Bergh, they have both played exceptionally well so far in the Premier League of Darts with stellar campaigns. But they've both got to come up against each other. And one of them might be about to take another L. Or they could get a point, I guess. That one's coming up next. Glen Durrant finds himself without any victories on the board so far. He's now going to go up against Michael van Gerwen. Let's hope that 10-day break has done Glen Durrant some good. And then the final game of the night sees Nathan Aspinall up against Peter Wright. Both players playing very well so far in the competition. But the real question is who can get that all-important result on the board. And as we said a moment ago, that win for Souza de Souza will bolster him up in the table to 6 points. He will now, I think, go into 5th place. I think he'll go to 5th or 4th. Maybe even 3rd, depending on that game there and the legs averages. But a massive result for him indeed. And you start to feel, of course, we now know pretty much that Glen Durrant was relegated anyway because the gap will have gone up now to, I think, 5 points between Glen Durrant and the rest of the players. But look, ultimately now it is a case of the rest of the pack making sure that they can get points so they're not down there with Glen Durrant by the end of the evening. But don't forget, if you are new to the stream and you have enjoyed it so far, it's got a fly in the room. There we go, kill that, apologies. And then don't forget to leave a like and a subscription on the stream if you are new, you have enjoyed it. We are covering the Premier League of Darts for the entirety of the tournament. And if you don't actually know how the Premier League of Darts works, maybe you're new to the tournament, then usually the Premier League would be on every Thursday night for 17 weeks. And then I think later on in the year, around about, I can't remember when the final usually is. It's been that long since we've had it. But usually we get to the end of the year, we'll have that semi-final and final, and that's when the tournament ends. However, because of COVID-19, the situation has changed. It means that the tournament has been taken up in a much shorter form, and this is how the event is looking for the rest of the year. So as you can see, nights 1 to 5 already completed, done and dusted. We won't have any more of those, but what we have got is nights 6 to 9. So we've got 3 nights of normal action. That's from Monday to Wednesday. Of course, we're halfway through pretty much this session now. We've still got Tuesday and Wednesday. But then we get to Thursday night on the 22nd of April. If you're wondering what that is, basically Judgment Night is where the bottom 2 players in the Premier League will go and get themselves relegated, and they'll be knocked out of the tournament, which means we are left with an 8-man tournament, basically, league table left to see who goes through to the next round. Makes it very interesting, especially with how the rest of the pack is looking right now. We'll then have pretty much a 2-week break, I believe. Wednesday, 5th of May, we'll be back for nights 10 to 12. And then, well, we've only got 3 nights there because we have another 2-week break. And then we'll have nights 13 to 16, which will be the last few nights of normal league action. And then, of course, the 28th of May, it feels like a long time away, but it's only 4 weeks when you think about it. Maybe a little bit more than that, maybe about 5 weeks if I'm being honest. And then we'll have playoffs night, which we'll see the semi-final and the final. And on that night, we will know who will be lifting the Premier League of Darts trophy. Going to be very interesting indeed. But Chloe's in the building. How are you doing? She's put hello again. I had a feeling that Souza was going to win today. What was the Cross Anderson result? It ended 7-5 to Gary Anderson. Very good game indeed. As hopefully you're all good as well, Chloe. Good to see you in the stream. But as we have a moment, as I said, if you're on into stream, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription if you have enjoyed the content so far. We will be covering the Premier League over every single night of action. But if you are maybe not a fan of the darts and you want to see some of the other content coming up on the channel, we don't just do darts on here. We've got more action to come in the other sports in the world, including, no doubt, at some point this week, we'll have... Fly again. I think I've killed it. We might have a big stream coming up in midweek covering, of course, all of the news with the Super League coming out. But as for now, here's a look at some of the content to come over the next week. It's a big week. Coming up this week on the Sports Corner, we've got lots of content to come. The Premier League of Darts Night 7 is tomorrow. You can join me live for that. Should be very good indeed. And then we have the Matchday 30 Gold Show in the Bundesliga. You can join the rest of the Sports Corner team for all the action in Germany. Then we have night number 8 of the Premier League of Darts as we get towards what's going to be a very, very exciting night indeed. And that, of course, is night 9, which is Judgment Night, where we'll find out which 2 players will be relegated out of the Premier League. It should be a massive night of action. And then we've got a morning stream. It's going to be with Rowan, Melbourne Victory, taking on Western Sydney Wanderers. That's live from Friday at 10 AM. And then our first confirmed watch along of the weekend sees Lyon against Lille in the Ligue 1 title race. That's this week on the Sports Corner. And that's all the content coming up over the next few days. As I said, it's a little bit quiet this week because there's not as many games going on. Usually we'd have the Champions League going on in the Europa League, but who knows what's going on in the world of football, even if we'll get any more matches this season there. But Curtis Wright is in the building. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? Oh, you're good. Welcome along to the Premier League of Darts stream. But yeah, I mean, there's some big content coming up, including on Sunday. We'll have that massive game in Ligue 1 between Lyon and Lille. 2 clubs not a part of the Super League, so we love them indeed. But let's talk about that game between Jose Souza and James Wade, because yet again, the man and the only man in the competition who is averaging over 100 for the entirety of the tournament, averaged over 100 again. Jose Souza right now cannot be stopped. And as I said, I would like to take my comments back a few days ago when I said I don't think Jose Souza can win this because he makes too many miscounts and too many opportunities that he cocks up. He hasn't. Tonight was a great example of a good Jose Souza performance, and that is not to take out what he did in the other matches, but this tonight was a perfect mix of a great Jose Souza performance. It had a high average, especially in the latter stage of the game. His average did go up from around about the 95 mark to 101, which is what he averaged in the game. But it was the checkouts as well. And when you go over both stats, both players played well tonight. James Wade with 104.1 average. Jose de Souza with 101.91. So even James Wade played well tonight. And on other days, he might have gone out there and actually won the match. But the important stat was, of course, the checkouts. 77.78% tonight for Jose de Souza. That's 7 out of 9 on doubles. As for James Wade, 5 out of 7 on doubles. That's 71.43%. And as I said, usually on another day, the fact that even he did really well in his checkouts, you would usually be sat here pretty much saying to yourself that James Wade on another day would win it. But ultimately, he just wasn't able to tonight. And Jose de Souza, yet again, finds himself in a position where he does move up to 6th, by the way, in the league. James Wade finding himself towards the bottom end of the table, as I think a few people expected. But look, I think James Wade could take positives out of his performance tonight. And I think he'd be very happy but upset with how things have gone on. But who knows what will happen as the tournament continues on. I think we will see both of these players have a few more good performances to come. But we are going to move on to the next game of the night now. As you can see, we've got Johnny Clayton coming against Dancing Dimitri van den Bergh, and this one should be a very, very interesting game indeed. I mean, look, both of these players have been absolutely incredible so far in the tournament. Johnny Clayton, who currently finds himself sat at the top of the table. Sorry, comes in second, isn't he, right now? Comes up against Dimitri van den Bergh, who does sit second. I was right first time. I should trust myself, shouldn't I? As you can see, both players at the top of the table. I think Dimitri van den Bergh actually moves down to third right now because of Gary Anderson winning tonight. But look, one loss on the board, the perfect start to life as a Premier League player. And I think these two could easily finish in the top 4, depending on what happens. One of them is going to have to drop points tonight. I mean, technically speaking, both of them could drop points with a draw. But I am going to show you my prediction because, as I said, as we have done for the entirety of the tournament, I have made my predictions before the games have started. I did these a few days ago. So here's a look at what I had to say with a prediction for this game. And as always, do tell us in the chat your predictions. It'd be nice to see what you guys are guessing for this game. But this was my prediction for Clayton against Van den Bergh. Game 3 of the night now. And again, it's a brilliant night of action. Lots of very good games. And let's be honest, I have to say I think every game is pretty much quality at this stage of the Premier League. But it's the top of the table, Johnny Clayton, up against, I think, second place Dimitri van den Bergh. This one should, theoretically be speaking, the best game of the night. You know, it's the top 2 players, or top 3 at the very least, in the table. But Dimitri van den Bergh, very disappointing in his last match against Jose de Souza. I personally think that he'll want to come out and make amends for what was a really disappointing result for him. As for Johnny Clayton, if you were to, tell him that he was going to be top of the Premier League, 5 match days in, I think he'd be absolutely buzzing with that. And if you've listened to his interviews before, he has been happy with it. But tonight, I don't think he's going to win. I think he's going to be Dimitri van den Bergh, who wins this 7-5. I think the Belgian, as I said before, has got to make amends for that previous game against Jose de Souza, or else he could be slipping down the table fairly quickly. So I'm going to go for a 7-5 result tonight for Dimitri van den Bergh. As always, do tell us in the chat below what your prediction is for this game. Who knows? Could be the best game of the night. We'll have to find out. Apparently it was very bad lag then. I apologise. I don't know what it is, but it might be a case of maybe just the videos with a lag. Why? I don't know. Strange. It might just because I've got too much going on my my Streamlabs. I apologise about that. Hopefully it should be lagging now. Maybe I might just have to stop with the videos for now. But look, at the end of the day, if you were able to hear what was going on there, I think I went for Dimitri van den Bergh. I didn't actually listen to what I said. I'm not gonna lie. I was too busy checking Sky Bet for a second. I think it should be a very good game indeed. And looking what you guys have been saying in the chat, Kyle's saying, apologies if you said this already, Josh, but is there relegation in the darts? And if so, where do they go? Yes. Now, technically speaking, no. But yes. Yes, there is a relegation. But technically, it's just them getting booted out of the tournament. There isn't like a second... league that they go into. They just basically get booted out of the tournament. That's it. They don't go into like a Premier League 2 or anything. So that's all that happens there. But your twin was lagging there. I don't know what's going on. It just seems to be when the video is on, and I don't get it because every single time I've done it before, it works okay. But who knows? Who knows? I just might have to make my predictions like a normal person. But without further ado, we're going to get into this game now. As I said, you guys have been putting your predictions in the chat. Do tell me what you're guessing for this game. But apparently, it's 1-0 to Liverpool. If you are watching the game, actually, do tell me. Can you, if you're listening to it or whatever, can you hear fans outside Ellen Road? Because I know tonight, I think that there were pictures out there showing a lot of fans that had gone to Ellen Road tonight to protest with the Super League stuff. But and fair play to them. I think I was watching Sky Sports earlier, and there was, I think, one Tottenham fan at the training ground on his own protesting, and fair play to him to go out there and protest in the end. But looking at your predictions, Daz is going for 7-5 to Go Johnny Go. Looking at the other predictions as well, Stunner Sponge thinks this is going to end a draw, which I think is a very respectable prediction. I think a draw, when you look at both of these players, both really in form. I think, yeah, this could end in a draw, but I'm going to back Dimmy van den Bergh. I think whatever my prediction was, if you heard it, that's what my prediction was. I'm not going to change my predictions. I'm going to be stubborn and stick to what I said. And that prediction, what I had a moment ago, is what I'm going to stick with. As Chris says, I can't hear them. Got both things on at the same time. I didn't even celebrate the goal. I mean, look, I think there'll be a lot of outrage that Liverpool have actually scored. I mean, a lot of Liverpool fans tonight saying, for fuck's sake, we wish Leeds had scored. But this game's about to get underway. If you missed the other games of the night, Gary Anderson with a 7-5 win against Rob Cross. James Wade in a 7-5 defeat to Jose de Souza. Is this going to be the third game of the night with a 7-5? Let's find out as we get underway with this game. It's going to be, I think, it's Mr. George Noble who is back on the refereeing duties. No doubt, Daz will tell us in the chat in a second. He knows his referees. And Alfie thinks he's going to end 7-4 to Clayton. Chris going 7-5 van den Bergh. And then Carl saying, cheers Chloe and Daz for keeping an eye on the Leeds-Liverpool game. Thank you very much as well for keeping us up to date. Wanted Liverpool to make top 4 and challenge Man City in the Champions League, but that might be in vain now. Well, this is the problem. And as I said, I don't want to get into it too much, but the problem now is, when you look at how the Premier League is set up for the rest of the season, pretty much every single team that is going into that Super League is fighting for European football in the league right now. Liverpool haven't got UCL football. Arsenal haven't got UCL football. Chelsea is still technically not in it. The only two teams that are pretty much confirmed are United and City, because they've played very well this season. But look, that, as I said, I'll leave that debate for another day. We might do something on the channel if we can be bothered with it. But I think there's only so many things you can say about it, as we might have the first 180 of the night. And of course, first one on the board. First free darts. First free darts for Johnny Clayton. And he starts off with a 180. And that is how you want to start the game off. As Dimmy van den Bergh tonight, for me, has got to bounce back from his result against Jose de Souza, in which he lost 7-3 a few days ago in that last match of night 5. It was a pretty good game for Jose de Souza, probably one of his best performances. As Chloe's put, I have a feeling that Leeds will score soon. And I think there'll be more Liverpool fans cheering Leeds tonight than Liverpool fans cheering Liverpool. And I think that's how it's going to be for quite some time, unless these money-hungry people decide to give up on the Super League idea. But Johnny Clayton here. A 2-2-1. Chance for another 180. He gets 140 to leave himself at 81. Dimmy van den Bergh all the way back at 368. So a chance here already in the game for Johnny Clayton to take a 1-0 lead in this game. As Daz has said, it is indeed George Noble who is the referee for this game. Is there a chance here for a 81 checkout for Johnny Clayton? One dart left at double 6, which he doesn't get. Just hits the outer rim of the double 6. Slap bang in between double 10, actually. So I don't know whether that would have actually landed. But Johnny Clayton will be coming back at double 6. With Dimmy van den Bergh all the way back at 2-3-4. And it'll be a leg that the Belgian will ultimately know he's going to have to give up here. Unless Clayton doesn't smack in the double 6, which he does. And it's 1-0. As Kian says, shall I watch Monday Night Football or the darts? It's all about the darts tonight. I mean, Monday Night Football, watch it later on. It'll be on YouTube, no doubt. Somebody will post it up. You know, Sky Sports. You don't get the same atmosphere. You don't get to watch this again. I mean, technically you do. It's on Sky Sports in the morning. But apart from that, it's all about the real passionate league tonight. No Super League. This is the Premier League. The elite one. That is the Premier League of darts. And Johnny Clayton starting this second leg. I think only with 51. He's down to 456. Not the best scorer in the world there. But don't you worry, I will probably, when I jump in bed after this action tonight, the first thing I will be doing is finding somebody who has recorded Monday Night Football and watching it. Because I want to see, of course, what Carragher and Neville have to say, because I think everybody has tonight. Everybody's been thinking the same thing. You want to see what the top dogs in football have been saying. As Van den Bergh gets a 140 to leave 201. Johnny Clayton back at 356. And I've got a feeling he's hitting a 180 here. Oh, no. Oh, no, he didn't. 140. So Clayton down to 216. Van den Bergh at 201. A 140 would do Van den Bergh really good here. Get himself down to 61. He's going to move to the treble 19s. And it's not worked in his favour. But that treble 18 with his last start is a real handy treble. Because he puts him down to 108. And into checkout territory. As Johnny Clayton gets himself down to 136. So advantage to Dimmy Van den Bergh here. Chance to make it 1-1 in this game. Gets treble 20. He's going to have one dart at double 16. Really needs to take this. And doesn't. Hits the outer rim of the double 16. So Johnny Clayton with a chance for a ton plus finish of 136 with 2 treble 20s and a double 8. But he's hit a 5. So he won't be able to check out here. Van den Bergh will be coming back at double 16. Although saying that, Johnny Clayton will be coming back at double 16 himself if Van den Bergh doesn't take it out. But can the Belgian do it? Double 16. 2 darts at double 8. Got 1 dart left in hand here. Really needs to take it. And does. And there we go. Brilliant, brilliant. Check out there. I said brilliant check out. It was a decent finish at double 8, wasn't it, for Dimmy Van den Bergh? And that's the first leg on the board for the Belgian. As Keane says, did they say if you go to the Super League, you get banned from the World Cup? Well, that's what they want to do. The UEFA president basically came out today and said that they want to basically ban players from the Euros and the Champions League. As we get a 180. It's all about the 180s tonight. But, yeah, they basically want to ban them from international football, from the Euros, the World Cup. They want to ban the teams currently in the Champions League, which would mean PSG would win the title, and it would be a Villarreal-Roma Europa League final, which I kind of like that. Both teams do deserve to be there on merit. So, yeah, I don't mind that in that sense. But, look, the last thing you want to see is after a season which was troubled by COVID last year, is another season that isn't actually stopped by COVID, but is stopped by the greed of petty owners that are too busy trying to fill the lines with pockets of cash. But that's all I'm saying for now. And Van den Bergh with a chance for another 180, which he gets. And another 180 on the ball. That's 3 in the game. 2 for Van den Bergh, 1 for Johnny Clayton. Although saying that, there's another one. This time for Johnny Clayton, that's 4 in the game, 2 apiece. And a chance here for Van den Bergh to check out 64. Gets the 16. He's going to have 1 dart at double 16, which he made a mess of. And he makes a mess of it this time. And Clayton will be coming back here at double 19 for a chance to make it 2-1 in the game. First dart hits the 19, which is really awkward. So he's going to have 1 dart here at double 8s, which he doesn't get. And Van den Bergh will now be coming back to take a 2-1 lead on double 8s. And he just takes a moment to compose himself here. Big moments in the early stage of this game, you feel? First dart's a good marker. And he uses it perfectly. And Van den Bergh takes the lead for the first time in this game. As Daz has asked me. And it's mad, isn't it, to think that Daz has asked basically, what do you think of Jose getting sacked from Spurs? First of all, it's mad to think that on a day where Jose Mourinho's been sacked, that ultimately that story's been pretty much swept under the rug by the Super League. And that's been the whole talk and narrative in football right now, which is expected. But take out the Super League side of stuff, I think personally for me, Spurs haven't played well over the last few months. I think there have been a lot of fans out there that have been frustrated with the way that Spurs have played. but to not allow Mourinho the chance to try and win them the Carabao Cup, I think for me is very harsh. But are Spurs looking at it thinking, maybe get an interim manager or Ryan Mason? I know that's the name that's been pretty much folded about as the guy to come in as the interim manager. Do they feel like maybe just making that slight change right now might give the Spurs players a little bit of confidence and allow them to get back into the top 4 race? Who knows? I mean, because of the Super League right now, it means not a great deal, as there's a chance here for a 180 from Clayton, which he gets. And the 180s are flying. That's 5 in the game. 3 now for Clayton. But it's one of those, and ultimately, I just feel like at the end of the day, it's harsh on Mourinho, I think, to have not given him the chance to win the final. I mean, they could have sacked him then, but at the same time, you can understand why they've sacked him. And I think there was a rumour going around this morning, basically saying that ultimately people were saying that Mourinho walked out because he didn't agree with the Super League. That was all rubbish. That was some fake account that had made up a tweet, basically, in the end. But ultimately, yeah, I think on one off, you can say it's very harsh on Mourinho. On the other hand, I can look at it and say, I understand why. I think it's fair. On the other hand, that he's been sacked. Carl's saying apologies for all the football talk, Josh. I know it's the darts watch along. As Clayton checks out 64 to make it 2-2. Don't mean to do it. Apologies from me too. I don't. No, you are more than welcome to talk about football on here. It's the sports corner for a reason. We talk about all sports in this building. So don't you worry. As I said, I expected, look, there was going to be a lot of talk about the Super League. That's what I expected tonight. I was ready for a 4-hour talk on the Super League. But as I said, this is a place to talk about anything in sports. So you are all more than welcome to talk about sports. And if you do have any questions in football or you want to talk about stuff, then do put it in the chat. Because at the end of the day, I sit here sometimes for, between 3 and 4 hours. Some days I'll be doing the darts, and it can be a little bit dry sometimes, especially if you get a bad match in the darts. So it's nice to have a bit of conversation about the other games and sports. It's always nice, so I don't mind it. You never have to apologise. As Van den Bergh with a chance to win a 180, and he does. And they're flying tonight. That's 6 in this game and 3 apiece, and they are going for it. 180 Central, all aboard the train, because it's absolutely rolling along the platform and out of the station. Unbelievable. As Dimsky's saying, talk about Norwich City, please. Incredible team. Although I did watch a game against Bournemouth, and I thought that red card was very harsh in the end. When I watched it at first, I went, red card, studs up. But then obviously when you watch it back, you look and you think, it's a bit harsh to send the player off. But look, I'm very excited to see how Norwich do next season in the Premier League. I think they've got an absolutely fantastic side. There's a chance here for a 3-2 lead for Van den Bergh on double 4, which he gets. And the Belgian takes the lead for the second time in the match. And this is going to be a topsy-turvy game, no doubt, until the very end. And I mean, I know what some of you guys have been saying in the chat. Like the whole thing of banning the teams from the Europa League or the Champions League. What are we going to do? We don't have anything to cover on the channel. Can you imagine? I'm worried that they're going to do it. I know there's been a lot of talk by ex-representatives of FA and stuff that they want to ban the clubs from the Champions League. But ultimately, when you think about it, that needs to be something that is done very quick. Because, let's not forget, those Champions League games are scheduled for next Tuesday and Wednesday. There's not enough time to sit there and dilly-dally about what to do with these teams. You either ban them or keep them in, as we have another 180. That's now 4 for Clayton and 7 in the game. And that's 180 180s in the tournament. You'll love to see it. How about 181, Dimmy? Oh, yes. There's another one. George Noble. Scream it, my friend, because that's another one. That treble 20 bed is taking a battering tonight in this game. As Dimsky says, we will qualify for the ESL. I mean, I sat there and I thought, if the top 6 teams were to be booted out of the Premier League, Sheffield United are the biggest winners of any club because they get to stay in the Premier League because the other 6 teams would be booted out. And then, as I said, there'd be no relegation as there's a chance here for a 1-2-1 checkout for Clayton on Bull, and he gets it. And that is brilliant. And that is a massive reaction from the Ferret, who gets a 1-2-1 checkout. And these two debutants are putting on a bloody good show, if I say so myself, in the Premier League. And the standard tonight so far has certainly been brilliant from all the players. And I mean, what a game this has been so far. As there's this chance for another 180 from Clayton, and he gets another one. And he might be on for a 9-darter maybe. Of course, both these players have actually been on for 9-darters in this competition. Dimitri van den Bergh actually had a chance against Gerwyn de Souza last week. And he hit the 15. But there will not be a 9-darter chance for Johnny Clayton here. He goes from hitting a 180 to getting 60. But yeah, I mean, Sheffield United would be the biggest winners. They wouldn't go down. They'd stay in the Premier League. Sheffield United fans would be buzzing. Everyone's a winner there. But can't say just one more. And as I said, if you've got questions throughout the night, don't feel like you can't put them in because it's a dart stream. You know, at the end of the day, I haven't done many football watch-alongs over the last few weeks. And usually, this is the best time. I mean, there's another 180. What's going on? Clayton's averaging 110 here. And he's going to have a chance to take a 4-3 lead. Although saying that, Van den Bergh gets a 140 to leave himself at 1-2-1. So treble 19, double 12 needed here. Gets treble 19, double 12 for a 4-3 lead for Clayton. 1-dot double 6, which he doesn't get. And a chance for Van den Bergh to make it 4-3. But Carl's saying, if the English teams went for a few extra teams to fill up the spots, they can invite a few League of Ireland clubs. I'd watch that even if they all get relegated. Imagine that, one season in the league would be brilliant. As there's a 1-2-1 checkout. What is this game? Back-to-back 1-2-1 checkouts. And this literally, as Clayton did it in the last leg, Dimitri van den Bergh does it himself. And this is a barnstormer of a game to start off the Premier League night number 6. What a game. 4-3. And these two just will not back off each other. And now Dimitri van den Bergh smacks in a 180 to start off. It's really 180s. I think that's 9 now. No, it's not. It's 11. I'm horribly wrong. What a game. As Keane says, he's got to put a phone on charge. See you later, Keane. Thank you very much for being in the stream. As always, your legend. As Chloe says, can we have a 9-darter, please, tonight? I presume there wasn't any in the first 2 games. Sadly not, no. But with the way that this one's panning out, you feel like one might come soon, yeah? Because Clayton's averaging 108. Van den Bergh averaging 105. This is an absolutely brilliant game. And to say that both of these players were being hounded out by darts fans because they've been put into this tournament. These two are playing one of the games of the tournament. As there's a chance here for another 180 for Dimmy. But he'll get a 140 this time. I mean, this is bonkers, isn't it? Absolutely bonkers. You can tell why these two are currently sat in the top pretty much 3 positions, or top 2, no doubt, in the league. I mean, Dimmy's technically 3rd right now. A chance for another ton plus finish here. Double 16 for a 104 checkout. Oh, it's brilliant. And Dimitri van den Bergh gets himself some breathing space in this game. He's now 5-3 up in this match. And Johnny Clayton, who's averaging 107, has got to now win a few legs on the bounce with both players with a 1-2-1 checkout. As Dimsky says, did Wade win? I was out. He didn't know. He lost 7-5 to Gerwyn de Souza a little bit earlier on this evening. But yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I know the Scottish clubs. I feel like if the Scottish clubs were invited to that Super League, they'd absolutely rip the arms of whoever invited them off to get in there. I feel like for a long time now, there's always been talk about how Celtic and Rangers have been 2 teams that have kind of wanted to get out of the league. And I think what's interesting as well is, I know this is a piece of news that's been bandied about for months now, but I know the Belgian and the Dutch leagues were looking at merging together. This was something they were talking about a few months ago. So I'm interested to see how, depending on what happens with the Super League, how it affects that. Because, as I said, the Belgian, the Dutch leagues were looking at linking up together and having pretty much what would have been called the Benelux League. So it would have been like Ajax up against Anderlecht and Club Brugge against PSV, which I think is a great idea. I like that. You know, nothing realistically changes. Both teams play against other teams in Belgium and Holland, but there's no implications of them leaving leagues. They're just merging together, and I like that. As there's another chance here for a 180, which he gets a 140, Van den Bergh, to leave 62. Johnny Clayton here at 66. Treble 10, double 18. He goes for the bull. One data, double 16, which he doesn't get. And Van den Bergh here with a chance to guarantee a point on the board. Treble 10, double 16 needed for a 6-3 lead against Johnny Clayton. He's going to have to take a step back here. He's got one dart at tops now, Van den Bergh, after making a slight mistake. He's going to go double 18, which he doesn't get. And Johnny Clayton now with a chance to make it 5-4. As Stephen says, just watch Clayton the way he's throwing. Now defo throwing this match. Be alright if I could see it. There we go. Yeah, he has changed it up a little bit, hasn't he? It's a very fair point, actually. Dimi Van den Bergh, though, 3 darts here, double 18, to make it 6-3 for a guaranteed point, and you feel like he's got to take this out now. First dart misses. Second dart is in, and that's 6-3, and that's a point guaranteed for the Belgian. And Johnny Clayton now, who's missed far too many darts, has now got to win 3 legs on the bounce to get himself a point on the board. And look, both players in terms of their doubles have been poor. 21% for Clayton, 38% for Van den Bergh. But both averaging 103 right now. And Clayton just needs to get a bit of a move on. And as you said, and as Stephen said, I feel like Clayton's throwing techniques just changed up a little bit here as he's under pressure. And Van den Bergh will just be hoping he can steamroll on. As Keane says, I'm back, my charger is crap. Good to see you back in the stream. As Johnny Clayton here at 408. Gets a 140 to leave himself down at 268. Van den Bergh at 347. And in fact, just looking at the last leg of the match, both players averaged 80. 82.2 for Clayton, 88.4 for Van den Bergh. So not the greatest leg in the world. As Clayton's actually only averaged 80, around about the 85 mark in both of the legs that have just gone by. And now, Clayton at 167 here. Van den Bergh going to need to get a few trebles on the board to put Johnny under some pressure, which he doesn't. And he's only at 186, so one behind. And both players here are going to be praying that they can get a few trebles on the board, which is exactly what Clayton's doing here. Going to probably leave himself with a decent finish, which he does. He leaves himself at 50. With Van den Bergh back at 186, so a chance to make it 6-4 for Clayton. What can Van den Bergh do here? Gets 165. Sorry, 145 to leave 41. So Johnny Clayton here, 2 darts at double 16. First dart hits 16, so 1 dart at double 8, which he doesn't get. And that's been the story of the night for Johnny Clayton. Just doesn't seem to be able to check out. And Van den Bergh now with a chance to win the game, 7-3. 2 darts at double 16 for a 7-3 win. And a 7-3 win is what Dimi Van den Bergh gets, because the Belgian tonight put in a very decent performance at the end of the day. And look, it was raining 180s in this game, but ultimately in the end, Johnny Clayton's finishing tonight cost him big time. As Stephen said, I've never seen Clayton miss so many darts at the double as he has tonight. And that's what cost him in the end. He missed way too many opportunities at the double. And ultimately, in the end, it allowed Dimi Van den Bergh to pretty much walk this game and get himself a very comfortable win against the Ferret, which means the Belgian will go to the top of the table. And another defeat for Johnny Clayton. I think there'll be a few people maybe wondering, is the Ferret going to struggle a little bit in this second batch of games? But look, after that long break, you want to get off to a winning start. And the perfect thing there, isn't it, for Dimi Van den Bergh, just to get that win, especially how he lost 7-3 himself against Jose de Souza in the last match that he played in before we went into the break. Don't forget, we've got 2 more games coming tonight. If you have missed the action in the other games this evening. We started off the night with Rob Cross against Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson coming out with a 7-5 win over Rob Cross. Jose Souza with a 7-5 win over James Wade. Both players averaging over 100 with a 70% plus checkout success from both players. Mad, isn't it? And then Johnny Clayton there a moment ago, 7-3 defeat to Dimmy van den Bergh. I think Dimmy van den Bergh, brilliant player. He goes to the top of the table. And well, the two debutants put on a good show, but in the end, it was finishing that I think let both players down tonight, but ultimately let Clayton down more as he does go out there with a defeat. And then, as I said, we've got two more games to come up. Glen Durrant, he comes up against Michael van Gerwen, and I think there's a lot of people out there guessing tonight that Michael van Gerwen will whitewash Glen Durrant, who finds himself on 0 points. I mean, if he gets a win tonight, that would be absolutely redonkulous. And then, of course, the last game of the night sees Nathan Aspinall coming up against Peter Wright. That one should be a very good game indeed. But as we always do, when we get into the break, you can probably read my lips. You're probably saying it along with me. If you are new to the stream, as always, don't forget to leave a like and a subscription if you are new. It's greatly, greatly appreciated indeed. But as I always like to do, we've got a whole host of content to come up on the channel over the next few days. So here's a look at the content if you want a little sneak peek of what's to come on the Sports Corner over the next 7 days. Coming up this week on the Sports Corner, we've got lots of content to come. The Premier League of Darts Night 7 is tomorrow. You can join me live for that. Should be very good indeed. And then we have the Matchday 30 Gold Show in the Bundesliga. You can join the rest of the Sports Corner team for all the action in Germany. Then we have night number 8 of the Premier League of Darts as we get towards what's going to be a very, very exciting night indeed. And that, of course, is night 9, which is Judgment Night, where we'll find out which two players will be relegated out of the Premier League. It should be a massive night of action. And then we've got a morning stream. It's going to be with Rowan, Melbourne Victory, taking on Western Sydney Wanderers. That's live from Friday at 10 a.m. And then our first confirmed watch along of the weekend sees Lyon against Lille in the Ligue 1 title race. That's this week on the Sports Corner. So a very quiet week on the Sports Corner. Not, as I said, a great deal going on, probably because the whole world of football has been ruined by the Super League. But as I said, we will have watch-alongs coming your way and probably a special, maybe a little podcast or something that we'll do, a live show where we'll talk about the Super League at some point. But let's talk about that game, as I said, between Johnny Clayton and Dimitri van den Bergh, because it was a very good win tonight for the Belgian, with the two debutants putting on a good show tonight, but in the end, I mean, the amount of opportunities that Johnny Clayton missed is absolutely mad. And we'll talk about that in a second. It was way too many darts missed at the double. But looking at the stats overall, 101.12 average tonight for Johnny Clayton. Don't forget, actually, these are the two players in the Premier League that have got the second and third highest averages behind Jose de Souza, which, funnily enough, all three debutants with redonkulously high averages compared to the rest of the pack, which is why it's so nice to have these guys in the competition. Both with 1-2-1 checkouts, which was brilliant because Johnny Clayton hit his, and then a leg later Van den Bergh hit the same checkout, which was brilliant. But it was the checkout success tonight. I mean, Dimmy van den Bergh actually isn't bad. I thought he was a little bit worse, but no, 43.75% tonight for Dimmy van den Bergh. Really, really got that checkout percentage up in the last few legs of the game. 7 out of 16 on double. But tonight, Johnny Clayton, just not what you want to see from him. 18.75% checkout success. Only 3 opportunities taken at the double. He had 16 chances. So not good enough for tonight for Johnny Clayton. Got to do much better when it comes to those games a little bit later on in the competition. But look, we said it before. 10 days break is a long time. I think sometimes for some players it will put you off your form and motivation. You want to continue on consistently and just keep going while you're in good form. And for other players, this break will do them some good. And we might see some players go on 2, 3, 4 game win streaks now before we have another break. And maybe Dimmy van den Bergh could be one of those players. You know, I think the Belgian can beat anyone on his day. I think the Belgian has proved he can beat anyone on his day in this competition. And I'm all for seeing him in that top 4 by the end of the season. But if he can keep going the way he is right now, he could easily, I wouldn't say cement a place there quickly, but I think he will be in the battle for it. As I said, he does go into first place, Dimmy van den Bergh. He will be the first player to hit 8 points. Johnny Clayton in second on 7 points. Gary Anderson in third on 7. Michael van Gerwen drops out the top 4, but of course he is coming up next against Glen Durrant, which is what we will talk about in just a moment's time. But don't forget to send in your questions and comments throughout the night. It doesn't have to be about darts. If you're a football fan and you want to talk about some football, and do send them in, because I know you guys have been making the chat very busy tonight, which is very nice for me. Makes my life so much easier. But Chris saying Van der Bergh is the one to watch in the future. Can easily be the new number 1. He's a very dangerous player. Only thing he can do with this is having fans back in the stadium, which I certainly agree. I think get the fans back in, and that'd be a really big confidence boost for him as well. And I think just mainly for all the players. You just want to get used to having a crowd back again. And hopefully that'll be at the World Match Play, which I'm going to, fingers crossed. I should be going to it. I'm 99% certain I am going to be there in Blackpool. It just all depends on whether there are crowds or not. If not, then I'm not going. Close put. I agree, Chris. Just as long as his performance level is consistent throughout the year, then he'll definitely be a contender in years to come. And I completely agree with that status there from Chloe. Dimsky says, how soon before FIFA do a European Super League Special Edition on Xbox? They'll already be thinking about that, my friend. The money will be coming in. And then Kyle's asked, Josh, if you could interview one dart player for the Sports Corner or in your spare time, who would it be? Gary Anderson. 100% Gary Anderson. Look, as I said, I've got a big passion for Gary Anderson. And I think as well with Gary, he's one of those players where he's not scared to tell his opinion. You know, we've had it so many times in darts where, look, people will say he moans, and I can understand to a certain degree why people think that. But I like the fact that Gary is a very open player and he does not beat around the bush. So I'd love to interview him. But if I had to pick another player, Aspinall, I think, would be a good one to interview. I think he'd be a great player. I think in the past he's had some good interviews. Adrian Lewis, I think, would be an interesting one to do. The fact that, you know, going from the world champion, dropping down the rankings, I'd be interested to see how he's doing, because I know he's lost a lot of weight recently. He's looking quite good, actually. But yeah, Gary Anderson will always be the first on the list for me. And then close put, I think MVG will win, but after seeing Clayton's performance, you never know, as the break between games can make a massive difference. And that is the game we are going on to next. Well, Glen Durrant, he has found himself in the most precarious position that anybody could possibly be in the Premier League of darts. We pretty much know that if Glen Durrant does not get himself a victory, and a very comfortable one at that, then he's going to be relegated before we even hit Judgment Night, especially considering that the rest of the pack are pretty much 4 or 5 points ahead already. This is how the table was looking before the night started. He was already 4 points behind the pack. He's now 5 points behind after Jose de Souza's big victory. And if he was to get a victory against MVG, it would no doubt be the biggest surprise result of the tournament by a country mile. Can he do it? I don't think he can. I'm not going to lie. I think Glen Durrant tonight, for me, is just a case of going out there and trying his very... Well, so the penalty... Let me turn that off for a second. In fact, I won't be putting that on because it's lagging the stream, so I'll just not put them on tonight. Doesn't seem to be working. But I think for me, it's a case of if Glen Durrant can go out there and put in a good performance against MVG, even if he doesn't win, it's one of those games where he can put his hands up and say, look, I didn't get a result tonight, but if you compare it to what I was playing a few days ago, it's a much better performance. And I personally think he played all right against James Wade. Wasn't his greatest game. He only averaged around about the 87 mark, which is what he has been averaging throughout the entirety of the tournament pretty much. But I think James Wade allowed him opportunities in that match to get a few legs on the board. And had Glen Durrant maybe been averaging 96, 97, he could have easily got a result in the game. But tonight is about pride more than anything for Glen Durrant. But look, if he was to go out there and win it, it'd be an absolutely brilliant confidence booster for a player who has been lacking that confidence for quite some time. And then you can look at it, of course, on the other side of the table. Michael van Gerwen currently finding himself on 6 points, 2 wins, 2 draws and a loss. He will be hoping that he can go out there and get a big victory. Let's not forget that tomorrow night, I'm pretty sure Michael van Gerwen comes up against Gary Anderson. So that's going to be a brilliant game to watch. So if he doesn't pick up a result tonight, then maybe we could be sat here tomorrow saying Michael van Gerwen is without a victory in 2 games. And especially with how the league is, you just cannot afford to drop any points at this stage of the Premier League. Even now, even when we're 6 nights in, you cannot drop any points because you know that the rest of the pack that are just a little bit down, below, with a point or 2 away from you, could pick up points in the end. And I think tonight, Michael van Gerwen has got to go out there and put in a very good performance. And I think he will. I think, in my original prediction, I think I went Michael van Gerwen 7-2, 7-3. I did say I thought Glen Durrant was going to play well tonight, and this break was going to give him a bit of a confidence booster. I would put the video on, but I think it will lag, and I don't want to lag the stream out. But I'll try. Let me see. Let's see if it works. So the penultimate game of the night now of day number 1. It is Glen Durrant up against Michael van Gerwen, and when you've been on a 5-game loss streak, and I know it's not working. I've literally just seen the bar go down to red. I'll leave it for tonight. Apologies about that. I thought it was going to work out in the end, but ultimately it hasn't. But let's have a look and see what you guys have been saying in the stream. Andrew Robertson, you're supposed to be playing for Liverpool right now. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're all good. Welcome to the stream. Daz Reynolds said you should interview Matt Edgar. I asked him. I private messaged him on Twitter. I never got a response back, but I don't know whether he would actually be able to, or whether I'd need to get some discretion from the PDC to be able to interview him, because of course he's part of the Professional Darts Corporation, so I don't know if I could just interview him without permission from them. But as I said, I'd love to be able to get another darts interview in the future. We had Devon Peterson I think about a month or 2 ago, which was fantastic. So I might see at some point if we can get another interview for the channel with another darts player. But I don't want to be the person that pesters them too much, if you get what I mean. I don't want to be the person who keeps emailing them asking for interviews all the time, because look, I know you guys turn up in your massive numbers for the Premier League of darts, but in comparison to other dart streams and channels out there, I'm very small compared to the rest. You've got the likes of the Darts Referee, you've got Matt Edgar, you've got these big streams. A Clash of the Tungsten, I think, is a fantastic streamer as well. You've got these guys who specifically, primarily, know more about darts than I do. I'm just the average casual fan. They are the hardcore, passionate fans. And, of course, Matt Edgar is a player. He plays. He gets to live and experience the life of a darts player. But I am going to try and see if we can get another interview at some point. I mean, I'd love to see and ask maybe what player you guys want to see interviewed on the channel. But your predictions in the chat. Chloe going MVG 7-3. I just don't see Durrant gaining enough during the break to win the match, but we will see. Daz saying 7-5 MVG. And then Tony saying, so will that be on MVG's mind? I mean, that's a very fair point. You could look at it and say the fact that Durrant hasn't been in good form. We saw it, as I said, against James Wade. James Wade sat there, I think in the early stages, got himself back 3 or 4 legs up. And then you just let Durrant back into the game. And I was wondering whether it was a case in that match, whether he did just allow, had Glen Durrant been better, whether he would have got a few more legs on the board. But look, I think MVG should win this. Kian saying 7-2 MVG. Dimsky saying 7-3 MVG. And Piers has asked, what's the table looking like right now, Josh? I'm not going to lie. I think I can't have a graphic of it because there's nothing on the PDC's Twitter where it's updated. But as it stands, it's basically Johnny Clayton in... Sorry, not Johnny Clayton. Dimi van den Bergh in first on 8 points. Johnny Clayton second on 7. Gary Anderson third on 7 points. And then I'm pretty sure Nathan Aspinall in fourth on 6. So, big opportunities for Michael van Gerwen to climb up the table. And he needs to get a result tonight. He got a 6-6 draw against Aspinall his last game MVG, which was a cracking match. Let's see what happens in this game, as Kurt Bevins is the referee for this match. And as I said, 7-3 defeat to Wade. He'll be hoping tonight, Glen Durrant, that he can have a bit of a confidence boost. And I know on Twitter and that he has been laughing and joking about in the last few days about the Super League and stuff, and saying how he's been invited to the tournament. And fair play to him to take it on the chin, because I guess that's just what you've got to do right now, haven't you? At the end of the day, you've got to take it on the chin. And hopefully, the break will have done you some good as we get underway with the penultimate game of the night. Glen Durrant up against Michael van Gerwen. And a man who's been averaging, I think, his average in the overall tournament, I think, is 87 or 88. He's got to hope that that 10-day break will have given Glen Durrant some confidence. And no doubt MVG will be hoping tonight he can put in a better performance than what he did against Nathan Aspinall. And if he played very well in that game, he'll just be hoping he can do one better and win rather than draw. As Glen Durrant gets treble 20, treble 5. And good score there. 1-5-5, leaves himself down at 3-2-1. And Michael van Gerwen here, a bit of a sloppy start. He's only at 59, so technically we're going based on the first leg. Durrant's in the lead. You love to see it, as we will crack open the third can in a second. But I mean, I think the bookies tonight were saying 10-1 for Durrant to win. And in fact, I haven't even put up the odds to win tonight. I forgot to put that up. That shows how unprepared I am. I will put that up a little bit later on and we'll see what the odds were. But Kyle says, with all these darts players you may interview, Kyle may want in on the action, have a chance to interview Granit Xhaka. Well, football players are just a little bit harder to get a hold of these days. I mean, I've tried it. I think we asked, funnily enough, we asked Frankfurt, I think, a little while ago. But honestly, right now, with everything that's going on in the world of football, I don't think many clubs really want to have their players interviewed, especially with a lot of the bigger clubs in European football. But we are hoping, especially over the summer, with some of the lower leagues, with the players lower down in the Championship and stuff, that maybe we can get a few interviews over the summer. I know we've had 1 or 2 clubs, not going to say the names, that have said that they would allow a chance for an interview. But, of course, things change as time goes on. But maybe one day, Kale will get to interview Granit Xhaka. And it'd be a dream come true for him. Just like how it was for me with Devon Peterson. But yeah, as I said, I will see if we can get another interview on the darts, because it would be nice. It would be very nice indeed. But Glen Durrant here with a chance to take a lead in this game. He's at 50. Could go 10 and tops. 18 double 16 as well. Goes 18. So he's got 2 darts of double 16 for a 1-0 lead. Which he gets. And Glen Durrant with the first leg on the board. And that is a good start for the man who has struggled for confidence in this competition. And to take the lead against MVG. I mean, it'd be so typical, wouldn't it? For Durrant to beat MVG after a 5-game loss streak. But I think he's just got to keep himself relaxed tonight, Glenn. I think one of the big problems for him in the competition so far is that when things haven't gone his way, we have seen a lot of frustration. He's been throwing the towel down. You can see him, I think at one point he nearly punched the board in. You can see the frustrations, which is fair. When things aren't going your way, it's very hard to keep yourself motivated and positive. But I think that's what he's got to do tonight. Keep himself calm. And who knows, maybe he might be able to keep himself in this match and get something in the game. But Dazazas will be doing the Senior World Championship when it's on. I'm not going to say anything about it because we've got no idea when it's going to start. So until I've got the rough idea of when it's going to be, then maybe yes, we might do it on the channel. But it all depends with when it is as such, because obviously the names they've got down for that tournament is unbelievable. Some quality names. You know, when you've got the likes of Phil Taylor on there, Ted Hankey, I think Priestley's on the list, John Lowe, it's unbelievable list of quality players. But until we get more details later in the year, I don't really know. But as I said, I won't be doing the match play in July because I think, as I said, if crowds can go, I am looking to go for a week to the darts. I'm hoping I can get a season ticket. I keep scouting just in case to see if one pops up and I buy it. But if not, I think I'm looking at going for like 5 or 6 nights. So I won't be covering the darts for the match play. Which means, funnily enough, I don't think actually the next stream after that would be until, I think, about October time. because we do get quite a big break in the summer of no big competitions. There's the World Cup of Darts, but I'm not really bothered about that. I think it's an okay competition, but it's not a big major. But a chance here for Glen Durrant to take a 2-0 lead. He's got 1 dart at tops. This would be big for Glen Durrant. And he just doesn't get it. And a chance here for MVG at double 10 to make it 1-1 in this game. First dart misses. Second dart misses. But third dart doesn't. And for a second there, maybe Glen Durrant was thinking I could take a 2-0 lead in this game. But unfortunately for Durrant, MVG checks out. And it's 1 apiece in this game. And Glen Durrant has just got to keep himself focused in the game. And he responds very well with a 140 to leave himself down at 3-6-1. And you can see right now, Glen Durrant averaging 80. Michael van Gerwen averaging 75. So even MVG's not got into the game yet. But as we said before, James Wade found himself into a real slog of a game against Glen Durrant in his match. And I think MVG is just going through that phase now. And he's just got to make sure he gets out of it fairly quickly. Otherwise, this could be a lot more closer than he'd like it to be. As Osty's in the building. How are you doing, my friend? Hope you're all good. He's put evening, mate. How are you doing? I'm not too bad, thank you very much. I hope you're all good too and you had a good rest of your birthday as well, my friend. Very nice to see you, as always, in the stream. It's very nice to have the community join me on here. As I said, I'm not the... I'd say I'm the casual darts watcher. You know, when you've got the likes of Matt Edgar and the Clash of the Tungsten, the referees, they are the hardcore dart players that know their shit. I'm just the court jester is what I call myself. The alcoholic of the group. A passionate fan. As Osty says. All good, mate? I was out with my mates. That's why I'm late. Never apologise. I hope you had a good time out, my friend. Especially with the weather right now. Been bloody lovely today in the UK. Perfect day to, if you're in the UK, to go into a beer garden. And have a nice pint. Which I think a lot of people will have been doing today, no doubt. But chance here for Glen Durrant for a 98 checkout. To make it 2-1 in this game. He's 17, so he's going to have one... no, he's not going to have 1 dart at bull, sorry. It's actually going to allow MVG a chance to check out with 3 darts at double 10. First dart hits 10, so 2 darts at double 5. Really needs to check it out. And he does! And it's a 2-1 lead for Michael van Gerwen. And that might just allow MVG now a chance in this game to push on forward and get that average up. And now it looks like MVG might be in the swing. As Osty says, sure was. It has. It's been lovely, hasn't it, today? I woke up early this morning because, of course, all of the Super League news going on, I think it was up about 7:30, 8, because I needed to keep up to date with everything. I was going to stream really early and do a live show on it, but I thought, nah, I can't be bothered. But I got the washing done, got some shopping done, and it was bloody lovely. When there's no wind as well, it was really nice in the sun. I think it was like 15, 16 degrees, and it didn't feel like it. It felt a little bit more, but hopefully we get a little bit more of that over the next week, because I know it's forecast no rain for quite a while, so that's nice. As it's good to see everybody doing well. It's good to see the darts community come together again. As MVG is now rocking and rolling in this game. He's down to 94 here. Durrant back at 3-6-1. And I mean, Glen Durrant has not had a great time in the league, has he? It has not been an enjoyable tournament for him, as MVG might have a chance here to take a 3-1 lead. 1 dart at tops, and doesn't get it, but he will be coming back. And you would expect him to take it to a 3-1 lead here. But can Glen Durrant put any pressure on? I mean, a 180 would do some good, but he's not going to get it in the end. And it will be Van Gerwen coming back at tops, which you would expect him to check out. First dart's a good marker. 1 dart at double 10, which he doesn't get. And, well, Glen Durrant here, all he can do is get himself down to a relatively decent checkout. And hope that Michael van Gerwen hits the 5. He gets a treble 20 here. Gets another treble 20. And leaves himself at 32. So if Van Gerwen doesn't check this out, which he does. Doesn't matter. I was about to say maybe there's a chance for Glen Durrant to make it 2-2, but he won't, because MVG chased out the double 5. And he takes a 3-1 lead, and now you start to think in this game that Glen Durrant's confidence might just disappear. As Daz says, I wish the pubs would open up in Wales. What's going on in Wales? Have they not opened up yet? I know, of course, with Wales and Scotland and that, they're going down different routes with COVID and stuff. But what are the pubs not open down there? I think it's 4 weeks from today when I think it's the cinemas and stuff open up again. In the UK, like cinemas. I don't think it's nightclubs. I think they open in June, but it's like arcades, museums, basically things that are inside. They start to open up again. So I mean, look, I'm not. It's funny enough I'm saying this while I'm drinking, but like off stream, I don't tend to drink a great deal, if I'm being honest with you. So I don't really tend to go to the pubs as much for drinks. I go there more for food. So it is nice to be able to just, get out there and maybe have some food, but not right now. It's not cold, but it's not as fun eating it outside, which is why when pubs do open the doors again inside, it'd be nice to go out there and get some food as Rowan's put up the darts. You'll love to see it. Oh, we had a safe journey, my friend. Back home. As Glen Durrant here at 285. Van Gerwen at 287. And if Van Gerwen gets the next leg on the board, then this game is surely over for Glen Durrant. And he's currently in this game, Glen Durrant, averaging 81. Michael van Gerwen only averaging 81 himself. So, not the most amazing game, isn't it, in terms of the actual averages. But, look, at the end of the day, I think Van Gerwen will be able to just do enough to go out there and get the result. So, Durrant at 170. Van Gerwen here, maybe a chance to get the 140. Which he does, funnily enough. So he's down to 52. And Osti said, I got a good birthday present at the end of the evening last night. A signed Phil Taylor photo. Wow. Even got an authenticity card to show that the signature is proof. Says there are a lot of fake signatures. There is, yes. It's a big problem in these days. Fake signatures. Especially with shirts and stuff. It's a nightmare. But that is a very nice present to get. And the fact, obviously, you've got the authenticity card as well is... very nice indeed, but a lovely, lovely present. As Glen Durrant with a chance here to make it 3-2. Treble 20, double 6. To make it 3-2 in this game and get himself back in the match. One dart. A double 18, which he doesn't get. And another chance goes wide of the mark. Van Gerwen with a chance here to make it 4-1 on double 8. First dart misses. Second dart doesn't. 4-1. MVG on a roll. And Glen Durrant might be about to find himself on the back of another hiding in the Premier League. And, well, that 10-day break that we spoke about earlier has not done Glen Durrant any good. But to be honest, I think Michael van Gerwen tonight, he knows he's in a real slog of a match. And I think he'll just be hoping he can get out of this game with a good, comfortable victory and forget that this match ever happened. Because he's only averaging 82, but... I mean, Glen Durrant only averaging 78. This is his worst performance of the tournament. But when you're coming up against a player like Michael van Gerwen, it's just one of those, isn't it, really, where I think even MVG could have played a 70 average and still beat Glen Durrant with the way he's playing right now. It's a shame. It's a shame. Osti saying, I saw some people the other day selling some Pro Darts jumpers, but they were fake signatures. I saw those. Was it some of the darts referee put up? Because they looked quite nice. They looked decent, but as you said, like fake signatures is a bit poo. But the actual design of them looked quite nice. The Rob Cross one looked lovely. As Chris says, the Super League clubs have decided to transfer the European Cups over to the Super League, meaning Liverpool will start with 6 Super League championships. You're joking, Chris. Please send me the link to that tweet. That's not how football works. You can't just transfer European Cups over and say they're a Super League championship. That's a lot of bollocks. And I'm not saying that the tweet's bollocks. I'm just saying the whole idea and the premise of what they're doing is absolute just bonkers. Like the fact that they haven't sat down and thought, what are we doing here? We're absolute buffoons. Mesmerises me. And not in a good way. In a bad way. It's mad, isn't it? But, yeah, they're the ones I thought they were. They look really nice, Osti. They looked really good. As I said, the Rob Cross one for me looked awesome. I like Rob Cross's design with the light blue. It's really nice. But Van Gerwen here, at 52, got really itchy nose tonight. Apologies. Glen Durrant at 42. Is he going to get a chance here to check it out? One dot at double 8 for Van Gerwen, which he doesn't get. So a chance here for Van Gerwen to find himself only 4-2 up. If Durrant gets hit 2 darts at double 16. First dart hits the 16, so 1 dart at double 8 for a 4-2. And he doesn't get it. And another chance wide of the mark. So unfortunate there. And now Van Gerwen can capitalise. He's got 1 dart at double 8 and doesn't hit it. And well, another opportunity missed for Van Gerwen. And a chance now for Glen Durrant to make it 4-2 in this game. With 3 darts at double 4. And I'm just seeing the tweet that Chris has sent over, so I won't be seeing the chat for a second. As Durrant has 2 darts at double 2. 1 dart at double 2. And gets it. And that is a 4-2 aggregate score, leg score in the match. And I can't believe that it's, oh my god, it's a tweet from Dave as well. It's actually real. Oh man. The fact that these clubs are sitting there thinking, we'll transfer our European Cups over and call them Super League Championships. I mean, as I said, you can only sit there and laugh at the stupidity of what's going on in the world of football right now. And I know we've spoke about it so much tonight. Well, we haven't really spoke about it a great deal, have we? But I think I watched a video earlier on today, and it was, I think it was Angeli, and basically he's the Juve CEO. And basically they wanted to cater the Super League for the new generation. They said that they feel like these days fans find some matches not competitive, and the fact that they bring the Super League to life will bring a sense of competitiveness to football again. And it's like, no. Just because a game like Burnley v Sheffield United is not classed as competitive to the neutral man does not mean, as we get the first 1-8 to the United, unbelievable in this game. Just because a game like that isn't competitive to the average fan doesn't mean it's not competitive to the Burnley fan down the road who's supported his club for 20 years. Do you know what I mean? It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous, I tell you. As Durrant has a chance here to make it 4-3. He's at 76 here. Treble 20, double 8 to make it 4-3. Yes, treble 20. Go on, does there? Double 8? Oh, he has as well. He's 4-3. This is what you want to see. He's going for it. The fists are up. He's having a good boxing match here against MVG, who's having an absolute stinker tonight. And let's be honest, Durrant's not playing great himself, but when both players are playing so shoddy, he's giving it a good go tonight against Van Gerwen. As Chloe says, I really don't know what double finishing is in this match right now. Well, don't you worry, Chloe, because I've got your back. Doubles finishing right now in this game. 17.39% for Van Gerwen. 33.33% for Glen Durrant. He's actually playing a better game right now than MVG. So, you know, mad, isn't it? MVG's having a stinker. Fraudulence from MVG. As apparently Real Madrid are doing it too. So basically you would assume all the clubs will do it then, apart from Spurs. Unless they get the Carabao Cup, then maybe I guess they could transfer that over to a cup. I guess Arsenal, are they going to class their FA Cups as ones as well? AC Milan, they haven't won anything for the last few years, so, you know. Oh no, actually they won the Italian Super Cup a few years ago, so I guess you could put that in there. But Chris saying, I grew up watching Premier League, Championship, League 1, League 2, FA Cup, Europa League, Champions League, League Cup. I want it to stay that way. I think that this Super League stuff has gone crazy. If you're making a new league, then it should start from scratch for the amount of titles, not transferring them from another league. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. As I said, I'll not give too many thoughts. If it's something that you guys are interested in, if you wanted a As Van Gerwen's made it 5-3, by the way, on double 18. If you guys wanted a special live stream, maybe we get some of the boys on and we talk through the Super League, then maybe that's something we're looking into over the next week. Because I was going to do a show this morning, which would have been quite interesting because Mourinho would have literally been sacked as we were live. But I think I might do a stream at some point. And we could talk about our own opinions. But I just feel for me, as I said, it's one of those where ultimately now pretty much everybody has talked about it. And I don't know whether there's much more you can bring to the table as an opinion that's new. Do you know what I mean? I mean, look, I look at it and I think there are a few positives that people will not like because of everything around it. I mean, it's very bad positives. It's not positives for the fan. I mean, one of the positives, for example, is this will make a hell of a lot of money and already has. I think they were saying something today about Man U's revenue has gone up. Our stocks have gone up by 10%. Juventus's went up by about, 20-30%, they were saying, maybe more, from just pure interest for the Super League. So it's already making money before it's even started. But for the business owners, this will 100% make money. Because the casual fans out there, fans that don't really care about the teams, depending on where these games are played, will 100% turn out in numbers to these games and things like that. But Steve was saying, yes, Glen will lose tonight, but I see he's playing better. Yeah, I mean, he's playing a much better game here. Not in terms of the actual stats themselves, but he's giving MVG a go. And I mean, that's based on the fact MVG's been utter shite tonight. But he's giving it a good crack, and fair play to him. As there's now going to be a chance here for Van Gerwen to take a 6-3 lead. Treble 20, double 16 needed for mighty Michael, which he takes. And it's a 6-3 lead to MVG, and that's a point guaranteed. And I'm not going to lie, he's showing emotion tonight, but I'm sorry, MVG. I wouldn't be roaring when you've played arguably the shittest match I think I have ever seen him play. But now a chance here to really take the match to him and take the 2 points. As you guys are saying, you want to see the live stream. We will definitely do it at some point. We'll get a special live show going on where we'll sit back and we'll really break down the Super League, and we can put your thoughts and opinions in there as well. But Carl saying, I have a poster on my wall of Sir Alex Ferguson holding the Premier League trophy in 2013 with his Trophy Roll of Honours Hall. Every time I look at that now, his legacy and what he did with United will be destroyed and lost in memory to these greedy people. Yeah, exactly. I mean, literally, the UEFA president came out today and said, Man U weren't anywhere before Sir Alex Ferguson came in, which I thought was great. But it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Apparently, Leeds are going for it as well. Close put. Leeds going for it. Leeds just had one go off the bar, which is very unfortunate for them. I think there'll be a lot of people tonight hoping Leeds can get something. As Close on spot. Hang on, I just need MVG to win this leg, and then I've got the prediction right. Let's see if you get it correct. As he's down to 186 here. Glen Durrant at 316. He gets a 140 to leave 176. So Glen Durrant not necessarily in the driving seat here. As Van Gerwen looks to get himself down to 100, which he does. And he's down to 50. So Glen Durrant, I'm going to be able to check out. Van Gerwen will be coming back. We've had a 10 tops and 18 double 16. And you would expect MVG to win this game. And it'll be a real shame for Durrant. It'll be a 6th loss in a row. He's going for 10 and tops, which he gets. And that is a win on the board for Michael van Gerwen in what was a hard-fought game against Glen Durrant. And it wasn't hard-fought for the fact that it was a good game. It was rubbish. Both players didn't play great. And look, I mean, Glen Durrant in this tournament so far has not played the darts that he would like to. And I mean, Michael van Gerwen tonight, he found himself in a game where he was easily finding himself in a real battle. But credit to MVG, as much as he's played a bad game, he's given a good talk there to, not MVG, to Glen Durrant. I'd be really interested, of course, to hear what he's said in the after the match. I'd assume a lot of positive comments to Glen Durrant, trying to help him out and cheer him on. But in the end, a 7-3 win. Look, it's not the greatest performance tonight for MVG, but it's 2 important points on the board. As for Glen Durrant, it's another defeat, 0 points. He is on course to have the lowest points tally that there's ever been in the Premier League. The lowest points tally, as we've said before in the past, is 5, which is a real shame for him. And he's got some work to do. But let's have a look at the results for the rest of the night across the board. We've got one more game to go, which will be an absolutely fantastic match between Nathan Aspinall and Peter Wright. But we started off the night, Rob Cross in a 7-5 defeat to Gary Anderson. It was a really good game, that one. Rob Cross averaging 107 at one point. Gary Anderson very nearly bottling the game and allowing Rob Cross to get a point, but Anderson did win it in the end. Joseph Souza, very similar position. He very nearly allowed James Wade to go and get a point in the match, but he also won his game 7-5. Yet again, another 100-plus average from the special one. He is on fire in the Premier League right now, and he's only 6th. How mad is that? Johnny Clayton with a defeat against Dimitri van Bergh. It was a 7-3 loss in a match where he only had a 16% checkout success. Not a great night for the Ferret, but Dimitri van Bergh tonight with a very good performance indeed. And then, as we saw a moment ago, Glen Durrant in a 7-3 defeat to Michael van Gerwen. As I said, we've got one more game of the night. Nathan Aspinall coming up against Peter Wright. That one will be coming up in about, I would say, 10 minutes time, maybe less. But please don't forget, if you are new to the stream, don't forget to leave a like and a subscription on the channel. We are covering the Premier League of Darts for the entirety of the tournament, and as you can see on your screen, we've got a few more nights of action before we reach Judgment Night, which is this Thursday, where we will find out which 2 players will be booted out of the Premier League and which 8 players will be fighting it out for the top 4 spots. Then we'll have a break from Thursday for 2 weeks. We'll be back on Wednesday night. Only 3 nights of action. Nights 10 to 12. That's from the 5th to the 7th of May. We'll then have another 2-week break again. Nights 13 to 16. Before, of course, we get to playoffs night, which is literally a day after the last league match, where we'll find out the winner. And that is in about 5 weeks' time, which sounds like a long way away, but when you actually break it down, realistically, about 3 or 4 weeks of that is spent without any darts actually going on in terms of the Premier League in general. So it will come around very, very quickly. And, we're already, we're nearly, halfway through the actual league phase itself. So it is going to come around very thick and fast. But as we said before, we've got loads of content coming up on the Sports Corner over the next few days. It is a massive week, not just in the complexion of everything going on our channel, but also because of the news surrounding the footballing world right now. We will have a special stream, I think, at some point this week, highlighting the Super League. We'll be talking about the positives, the negatives, and everything in between. That will be at some point later this week. We will confirm that, and we'll get of course, some of the Sports Corner guys on, and we'll have a really big stream for that. But either way, this is some of the content that is coming up on the channel over the next few days. It's a busy one if you're a darts fan. Coming up this week on the Sports Corner, we've got lots of content to come. The Premier League of Darts Night 7 is tomorrow. You can join me live for that. Should be very good indeed. And then we have the Matchday 30 Gold Show in the Bundesliga. You can join the rest of the Sports Corner team for all the action in Germany. Then we have night number 8 of the Premier League of Darts as we get towards what's going to be a very, very exciting night indeed. And that, of course, is night 9, which is Judgment Night, where we'll find out which 2 players will be relegated out of the Premier League. It should be a massive night of action. And then we've got a morning stream. It's going to be with Rowan, Melbourne Victory, taking on Western Sydney Wanderers. That's live from Friday at 10 a.m. And then our first confirmed watch along of the weekend sees Lyon against Lille in the Ligue 1 title race. That's this week on the Sports Corner. And there's a look at some of the content. As I said, pretty quiet week in terms of football. Not many big games going on. We've got the Bundesliga on Wednesday night, which we'll be covering all 4 fixtures. That will be live around about the same time that we're live with the Premier League of Darts. So lots of action to come there. But apart from that, it probably will be a pretty quiet week from the rest of the guys. It'll probably just be me for most of the week, which is great. Yay! Hopefully you haven't got bored of me by now. But yeah, that is the content to come up on the channel. Don't forget as well, if you want to check out our social media links, and I highly, if you are a darts fan, I highly recommend checking out our Twitter, because we are doing the Super 6, and I am tweeting out the Super 6 on Twitter. So if you want to get involved, put your predictions in early and maybe win some cash, then do check out our Twitter. Our Twitter is @the_top corner, and our Instagram is _sports corner_. Really do go. Really highly recommend checking those out, specifically the Twitter, as that's where I will be tweeting out the Super 6. Our website, as well as the sports-corner.com, there will be a lot of content going up there very soon. I know Will is going to be doing a lot of NFL draft content over the next few days. I'm going to be working with the guys to see what content we can get up on the website. So there will be a lot of stuff going up there soon, so do keep your eyes out on that if you are a big sports fan. And hopefully we'll get a few more breaking news pieces on there as well. As apparently the Leeds match is very interesting now. I can't tell who will get the next goal. How long of the game is left? You'll have to tell me, Chloe, as Carl's put the link for the Twitter in the chat. He's an absolute legend. As Michael van Gerwen is now gone up into second place on 8 points. Of course, Glen Durrant staying at the bottom of the table with 0. He's now 5 points away from the rest of the pack. So a lot of work for him to do there, that's for sure. Carl saying, can't believe it's the last game soon. These almost 2 hours and 40 just fly by. They do. This is the thing with the darts. I feel like 3 hours goes like that. It's honestly ridiculous, isn't it, how quick it goes? But, you know, we've been live for nearly 3 hours now, and you wouldn't be able to tell, would you? That's why we love the darts. It always goes too quick. That's the problem. But let's, as I said, look at the stats for the game between Glen Durrant and Michael van Gerwen in the match, because I haven't actually talked about them yet. Glen Durrant averaging 84.94. Again, not the highest average tonight. As for Michael van Gerwen, 87.63 average, not his greatest average in the world, but it was good enough to beat Glen Durrant on the night. Highest checkout was a 92 from MVG. However, when you look at the checkouts, my lord, MVG tonight, not his best night at all. 24.14 checkout success. That's 7 out of 29 at his doubles. As for Glen Durrant, 33.33%. That's 3 out of 9. And apparently Leeds have scored. You called it, Chloe. You called it. I knew they were going to score. You literally just said about 2 seconds ago that you thought someone was going to score in the game. But fans rejoice because Leeds have got a goal with a few minutes left of that match. They might even go on and win it. Maybe Paddy B can get a goal. Who knows? But fair play to Leeds, doing the footballing world a bit of justice right now. But yeah, there was 1-180 in the match. You wouldn't have been able to tell, to be honest. It was a pretty piss game in the end. But look, let's put that aside. It doesn't really matter, I think, in the terms of a game like this. We said at the beginning of the match, James Wade, in his game against Glen Durrant, found himself in a similar position. Actually, a little bit of a different position because Wade was playing well for a bit. Where ultimately, as the game went on, I think he allowed himself to start thinking he'd won the match, which cost him in the end, and it made him, of course, go on and allow Glen Durrant to get some points on the board, some legs, sorry. As for MVG, I think he must have fought from the start tonight, and I don't know whether it's a case of, not ego, I think that'd be very harsh to say, but the mentality of how he comes into this game. I would assume MVG came in and thought, easy win, 2 points. I'll have that done and basically get out of there in pretty quick fashion. But that first little section of the match, Durrant, you know, he played very well indeed and got himself into the game. But ultimately, in the end, he's just not consistent enough right now, which is why I think most people do think he's going to actually finish with 0 points, which is a shame. You don't want to see him finish with no wins on the board and get booted out of the tournament with no, like, not even a draw. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. The Premier League is a harsh place to be, and if you don't play on form, then at the end of the day, you're ultimately not going to get any results anywhere. As Osti says, I actually saw one of the first good VR decisions at the Newcastle West Ham game. It was Kieran Clark handballed it, and the ref gave penalty, and West Ham scored it. As Dim says, Liverpool will remain in the top 6. Ironically, well, I mean, right now they bloody need it, don't they, for their Super League campaign? But yeah, it was a very poor game tonight for MVG, but it's one of those, I think, where it will be swept under the rug. He'll not be too fussed that he played rubbish tonight. He'll come back tomorrow. He's got Gary Anderson, let's not forget, tomorrow night, so he will have to put in a much better performance, and I think he will. I think he will put in a much better performance, as you would expect. But we will move on. Sorry, we will move on. I can't bloody speak to the last game of the night now, and we have reached it. And for me, this is a very exciting game as Nathan Aspinall takes on Peter Wright. And this one could be a 6-6 draw, I feel. I would put my prediction on the screen, but I don't know what it is tonight. The videos just don't seem to be working, and I genuinely don't know why. But I've got a feeling Nathan Aspinall might be able to get another 6-6 draw here. The last game he played, 6-6 draw against Michael van Gerwen, in a match where ultimately I actually thought he was going to lose it, based on his poor finishing in the end. But he got the result, and a point was a very well-deserved one. I think he averaged about 107 or 105 in that game, Nathan Aspinall, which was the highest average on night 5. And if he can bring that performance tonight, he could beat Peter Wright, but you never know with Peter Wright. It depends what darts he's using, what mood he's in. He's a very interesting player, isn't he, to watch, Peter? Some days he's absolutely incredible, averages over 100, high-quality checkouts. Some other days he just doesn't turn up, and it all depends which Peter does turn up on the night. But yeah, I'm going to go for a 6-6 draw on this one. I've got a feeling if anybody was to win it, I'm saying Aspinall's more likely. But look, I said it in the video that I did record. For somebody who is supposedly, and I will put it up on the screen right now, these are the odds for Aspinall to win the competition. For somebody who's 14 to 1 to go on and win the competition, I think that's bonkers. I'm surprised he's 14 to 1. I don't think he should be 14 to 1. And I'm very interested to see why the bookies still put him that high in the odds. Because when you look at James Wade, for example, his odds tonight will have dropped down slightly from 14 to 1. But at the beginning of the night, they were putting James Wade and Aspinall on the same calibre. And look, I think both players are on the same calibre in terms of how they play and performance-wise. But in terms of the Premier League right now, he's not played bad, Aspinall. I don't think he's had really any bad games. Which is why I'm going to go for a 6-6 draw. Which is totally condescending what I've just said. But I think tonight, Aspinall will give it a good go. But it all depends which Peter Wright turns up in the end. You never know, do you? As Osti says, Premier League is going to be crap when the big clubs leave. Leicester and West Ham are the only really clubs doing bits in the league. If Newcastle get their Saudi takeover in the future, then maybe it might be a different story. But Osti saying, I wonder what it'd be like if they wanted to join back. Probably going to have to go through the leagues or something like that. Yeah, that would be interesting. You know, let's say that the Super League collapsed and it didn't work and it just didn't actually come into fruition as they expected. Then, yeah, maybe it could end up with the clubs having to force their way back into the leagues and having to work up the systems, which would be bonkers. But let's not forget, and I think it was a point that the UEFA president made, again, it was like, Juve have been in Serie B before. Do we class that as European royalty? Man taking so many digs today, and fair play to him. I mean, the amount of stuff UEFA and FIFA have had to deal with in the last 48 hours is bonkers. And no doubt over the next few days, it's specifically because as well, I think they're doing all the legal stuff tomorrow to find out what punishments and stuff they could give to the teams. Whether they can actually boot them out of the Champions League or not is mad. It's bonkers, isn't it? Because we could be sat here tomorrow on stream saying that the Champions League is finished and PSG have won it. Or we could be sat here saying that it's a Roma Villarreal final in the Europa League and that Arsenal have been booted out of it, which would be bonkers, wouldn't it? But who knows? Who knows? As we get into this game, the final game of the night, Nathan Aspinall up against Peter Wright. And this should be quite an interesting game indeed. Peter Wright tonight, donning the purple Mohican with the purple shirt. It's not just the darts he changes. Of course, it's the shirts as well. As we are about to get underway with this last game of the evening. Hopefully, as I said, you guys have enjoyed it tonight. These streams are always long. We have been live for what has been nearly 3 hours, I think, in the end. So, hopefully, you guys have enjoyed it. And hopefully, this can be the game of the night to end it off. We've had some very good games indeed, as close, but I like how every time I check the score on Google, it gets rid of Liverpool's goal. Still 1-1. I think there'll be a lot of people tonight hoping that it was 1-0 to Leeds, but apparently now it's full time. 1-1. Good result for Leeds. Keeps them in the race for the Europa Conference spot. So, I mean, fair play to Leeds. I think Leeds have been brilliant to watch this season. And I know everybody's been saying about the attacking play, but I think when they play the top teams, they're great to watch. When they play some of the lower teams, they're very frustrating. sometimes, in my opinion. I think they've got a very similar problem to what Everton have. As we've got the springy darts out tonight for Peter Wright again. The World Championship ones, they do. They'll be the barrels. We saw last time, I know when you shared it to me, Osty Van Osty, man, the German channel that was putting on the boing every time his darts landed in the board as we get the first 180 of the night in this game. Nathan Aspinall with the first 180 as every time Peter Wright's darts hit, all I can think is boing. That's all I can think about right now. Might be another chance for 180 here. Sorry, there won't be because he's at 181. But Aspinall is down to 46. Carl's saying, them betting odds always confuse me. 14 to 1, 22, 50 to 10. It's as simple as 14 people in favour to 1. Or does it mean something else? If anyone knows, I'd be greatly appreciated to it. Betting and odds, they are quite interesting to talk about. It is a, I want to say it's complex odds and betting, but it is one of those where if you've never really sat there and looked at betting odds and stuff, then it can be quite complex, as you've said. But 116 here for Peter Wright, which he's not going to be able to take out unless he gets treble 19 double 20, which he doesn't. So Peter Wright going to try and leave himself here with a decent finish, which he goes for treble 18, and bang, it hits the treble 18. So double 16 here for a 1-0 lead for Nathan Aspinall. And a chance to take a foothold in this game. First dart is a good marker. Second dart hits the 16, so he's going to have one dart at double 8 for a 1-0 lead, which he doesn't get. So a chance now for Peter Wright at double 12 to take the lead and start the game in fine style. It hits 12, so 2 darts at double 6. And it hits right in the middle of the bed, and it goes bang, because it is 1-0 to Peter Wright. And I mean, the way his darts move when you see the replays, they move like mad. It's amazing. I mean, I love it. You can see, obviously, the vibration of the darts as they hit the board. It's awesome. But yeah, look, 140 there for Peter Wright to start off the second leg. And a 1-0 lead on the night. As Dimsky says, he's got to go. Great stream as always. Catch you next time. Thank you very much as always, Dimsky. You're an absolute legend. And hopefully, we will see you tomorrow for some more darts. Take care, my friend. As Chris says, it doesn't matter. We're playing in the Amazing Super League next season. Get excited, Chris. It's what the fans want. It's what the fans want. They're getting it down your throat. Ramming it down your throat. That is what the fans want. They want to appeal to the new generation. All you fans want to see is Liverpool taking on Barcelona every week. Liverpool taking on AC Milan. That's all you want to see every week. And you'll not get relegated. No such thing as that. You're safe. So if you don't win the league, it means shit all. Which I don't get. I mean, technically, actually, it's not the league, isn't it? I'm pretty sure he said it was 2 leagues divided into 10 teams. So technically, it would have a playoff system. Which is pretty much like the MLS, isn't it, really? With like it's not a Southern and a Western or whatever it is. It's just MLS. But Osty's saying, I remember my old PE teacher from primary was a Leeds fan. And I always asked him when Leeds would go up. Never got the chance since I'm in secondary school when they got promoted. Yeah, they've taken a long time to go up, haven't they, Leeds? But fair play to them. They're living the dream that every other championship club is dreaming of. As Dimsky's off. See you later, my friend. Take care, lad. So Peter Wright for a 2-0 lead. Double 16. Which he gets. And it's 2-0 Peter Wright. And that's the perfect start for the snakebite. Who will be hoping if he can get a few more legs on the board that he can have this game done fairly quickly. Although saying that, Aspinall will respond with a 140 to start in this third leg. And I love the way that Aspinall throws his darts. It's very Richie Bennett-esque. And I know Richie Bennett's was due to dartitis. But he likes to kind of push up the body when he throws his darts. And of course, there has been a few times where he does kind of kick his leg out. And I wonder if it is a case of dartitis for Nathan Aspinall. Or if it's just how he likes to throw his darts. And that's the movement that he's got. But Aspinall currently averaging 110. Peter Wright averaging 108. It's a good start on the averages. But you wouldn't feel like it is. Especially when Peter Wright's got a 2-0 lead. But you just see the way he throws it. He kind of just leaps up a little bit, doesn't he? He gets the dart and then he like lifts himself up slightly. It's quite an interesting technique. I don't think there's any other player in darts right now that I can think of that have that technique that Nathan Aspinall does. You know, his leg lifts slightly, and as I said, I'd be interested to see whether it was actually dartitis or whether it was just the way he wants to throw his darts. But Aspinall down to 32 here. Peter Wright all the way back at 244. So you would expect here that Aspinall is going to make it 2-1, especially when Peter Wright's only hit 58 to leave himself at 186. So chance to make it 2-1 at double 16. He had the chance in the first leg to hit it, and he didn't. And he adds a chance of the second leg. The fourth leg. And he gets it. Sorry, third leg. Can't bloody speak, can I? So Aspinall there makes it 2-1. And he couldn't actually see the dart there because it was hidden behind his other dart. But in the end, Aspinall gets himself back into this game. And it's 2-1 in this match. And he might have a chance for the first 180 on the board, which he gets. And that's a roar there from Aspinall. And of course, last time, we were actually here for the darts because of the Prince Philip situation with the passing away. Of course, didn't have the cheerleaders on stage. We didn't have George Noble screaming and shouting the 180s. But we can have that again, which is, of course, nice to see. And I know Aspinall was saying last time, as he's hit 5 perfect darts, doesn't hit a 6, sadly, for a 9-darter. And he wanted it. You can see his reaction. He wanted a chance of the 9-darter. But he wasn't going to get it. And he is down to 181 after 6 darts. But credit to Peter Wright, because he's down to 176 after 6 darts. With Aspinall averaging 112. Certainly continuing on from where he left off against Michael van Gerwen a few days ago. So Aspinall down to 84 here. He's going to be coming back with Peter Wright back at 176. So chance to maybe make it 2-all in this game. As Ryan is in the building. He's put, anyway I can catch this in America. I think, Ryan, it's on, I'm pretty sure it's on PDC.TV. Oh, that's a brilliant finish from Aspinall on the bullseye for 84. Are we all good, by the way, Ryan? I think it's on PDC.TV. If not, there might be some streams on this platform you're currently on right now that's showing it as well. So maybe it's worth checking out there, but hopefully you can find something for you, my mate. And you can get yourself a stream sorted out. But I hope you're all good as well. Good to see you, Ryan. As Aspinall makes it 2-all in the game. And when you're averaging 112, I'm pretty sure you feel like you deserve to be with a 2-2 at the very least. Probably expected to be 3 or 4 up. But I'll tell you one thing. Is it just me? Or Aspinall darts? They're really, really chunky. And it's not something I usually sit and really think about. But of course, when you see Peter Wright's darts, when they spring onto the board, the actual towards the tip of the dart is very light. And you see with Aspinall's, very chunky. And I wonder whether it maybe thinks it might help him with the with darts close by so they don't bounce out as such. It is interesting. Very bulky darts indeed. And I know that's the way he's always been. I've just never really properly talked about it and how kind of thick they are towards the tip of his dart. But chance here for a 170 check out from Aspinall, which he's not going to take out, which is a shame. But Peter Wright, he'll be coming back for a 170 check out, which we've not actually had in the competition yet. Still waiting for a 170. I think the highest check out value is a 167, which was by Bergh. But Peter Wright here gets the treble 20. Needs another one. Gets it. First 170 finish. This would be brilliant for Peter Wright. Oh, he doesn't get it. He gets the outer bull instead. And I think that's the closest we've been to a 170 checkout. But if we're being honest, it wasn't close enough as Aspinall capitalises and makes it 3-2 with one dart in the, well, I'd say in the middle of the bed. It was a little bit towards the left-hand side of the double 18 bed, but it landed in there anyway, and a deserved lead for Aspinall in a game which he's currently averaging, as it stands, 108. Although Peter Wright is averaging 106. So both players playing very, very well indeed in this match. And they might have left their best game till the end of the night. But not a good start here for both players in this sixth leg of the game. And when you look at the averages overall, there's only been one leg so far where Nathan Aspinall has averaged under 100. And even then, he was averaging 98.6 in that first leg. So he started off a little bit slow, but ever since then, he's averaged over 100. Although saying that here, Aspinall only hitting 387 after 6 starts and allowing Peter Wright a real opportunity to just push forward here. He's down to 206 Wright. Aspinall back at 387, and you just feel here that a few trebles on the board are needed for Aspinall, which he gets. And a 140 will leave him just in slight distance of Peter Wright. What can Peter Wright do here? Just taking a moment to step back, making sure that he leaves himself in a good position for a checkout. He leaves himself 120, I think. What about Aspinall here? Needs a few trebles on the board himself now. Gets a treble 20 to start. Gets a 20. And gets 19. So he's down to 148. So Peter Wright in a better position here for the checkout to make it 3-3 in this game. Gets the treble 20. He's going to have one dart at 20 for tops. And I think Peter Wright wasn't too happy there with how his dart landed in. But chance at tops, which he gets. And that's a lovely checkout from Peter Wright. Gets it into the top left-hand corner of the tops bed. And that is now 3-3 in the game. As Nathan Aspinall responds with a 180 on the board. As Ryan says, it worked out on PDC. Just had to pay £2 to watch it. Yeah, I thought he was on PDC. I think that was like a little a match pass, which you get for the day. So hopefully that helped you out, Ryan. So Aspinall here. 3-2-1, no chance for the 9 darter, which is a shame. We haven't had a 9 darter chance tonight, which is a little bit disappointing. Would have been nice to have had one, wouldn't it? But he's got 3 180s so far in this game. None for Peter Wright. Although saying that, might be able to get his first one here. Which he does. I wouldn't say that's commentator's curse. But that's his first match in the game, as he's now averaging 107 to Aspinall's 108. And this is a very high quality match of two players who do not want to back down at this early stage of the Premier League of darts. We're only 6 nights in, but it already feels like every game is absolutely detrimental. As Dad says, if I was Peter, I would change them now to the World Championship ones. Thing is, I wouldn't. I disagree. I think when you're playing 107 average with these darts, why would you change them? You're currently right now playing... actually, I guess you might have meant in terms of long term and just sticking with them, which in that I agree with. I get what you mean. I read it, to be honest, at first, probably thinking you meant in this game specifically, which I'd be like, oh no, I wouldn't change them. But no, I get what you mean. Overall, because he has been playing very well with them, but double 16 needed. In fact, 1 dart at tops now for Nathan Aspinall for a 4-3 lead, which he gets. And this topsy-turvy game continues on, and Aspinall finds himself in the lead in this game. And I think Peter Wright will be happy. He'll be calm. He'll be focused. He knows that with the way that this game is going, there'll be a few more twists and turns in this match, no doubt. But I really like Aspinall. I've said it in the past. I think he's one of my favourite players. His passion for the game is high quality, and I'm really excited to see what the Asp can do in the future. Because let's not forget, he's still very young, and just the way that he's been over the last 2 years in the Premier League, I really do feel that the Premier League has been the biggest confidence boost of his career. To make the semi-finals last year, as he smacks in another 180, and just the passion that he has for the game. You love it. You absolutely love it. I don't know how anyone could hate Aspinall as a player. As that's our 5th 180 of the match. And he's down to 261 with a chance to take a 2-leg lead over Peter Wright. And that would be massive at this stage of the match. Especially when pretty much the majority of this game has been largely with both players just 1 leg behind each other apart from the early sectors of the match. As Aspinall gets a 140 to leave 121. Peter Wright's going to have to get a few trebles of his own here, which he's not. Only gets 100. So advantage Asp for a 5-3 lead. And honestly, fair play to not Durrant tonight, to Asp. Because he is really putting in a stellar performance. And, I mean, Peter Wright's putting in a good performance, but it doesn't feel like it. And fair play to the Asp for being able to keep calm in a game like this, as Wright hits a 140. And Aspinall is going to have 2 darts at tops here to take a 5-3 lead and to go 1 leg away from a point, which is exactly what he will do. And this is beautiful darts from a man who has taken to the Premier League like a duck to water. And, I mean, Peter Wright, he was averaging 107 with a 60% double success, cannot get himself into this game right now as Nathan Aspinall keeps running on and he's in bloody good form. And to say that the bookies were predicting this man 14-1 to win the tournament. If you haven't put some money on Aspinall to win it, put some money on now, because this man does not give up. And I personally do think he will be up there, well within a shout to be in the top 4. His averages in the tournament so far have been brilliant. You know, let's not forget, he averaged, I think, 105 against MVG in his last game. He's averaging 107 against Peter Wright. And he's on course here to get a 3rd leg on the board. He's down to 261 with Peter Wright at 344. Wright's average just slowly starting to dwindle under the 100 mark as Aspinall's average starts to go back up towards 110. He's down to 121 here, Asp. Peter Wright going to need to get a few trebles, which he doesn't. Only gets 100 to leave 244. So you would assume here Aspinall is going to have at least 6 starts minimum to check out this 121. Hence why I think he will probably go for tops. Which he is going to go for tops. So a chance to make it 6-3. What pressure is he going to be under here? Peter Wright starts with a 20. Gets another 20. And that means Aspinall will be coming back for at least 6 starts at tops. With Peter Wright at 184. And 1 dart is all he needs. This is beautiful. I mean, this is one of the best performances I think we've seen in the Premier League this season. Incredible average. Quality on checkouts. And no doubt this will probably be one of Aspinall's best performances in the darts recently. You know, we came into this tournament and he was on a bit of patchy form. But we said before, with the Premier League, usually it's consistency. But because it is in a much shorter period of time, it is all about form. And that's exactly what Aspinall's brought to the table over the last 6 nights. And fair play to him because, I mean, Peter Wright has just not had a chance to get into this game. So Wright at 310. Going to need to get 3 legs on the board here for a guaranteed point. And you would assume Aspinall will be making a run towards the finish line. And I'll tell you what, like I will obviously say about it a little bit later on, but when you actually look across the board tonight, I think apart from that Durrant van Gerwen game, take that out of the equation because that was rubbish. Everybody's played really well tonight, apart from Durrant and van Gerwen. Everybody's not... I mean, Clayton's finishing was bad, but his averages were really good. The averages over the night have been really high. Be a fair few players with 100 plus tonight. As Peter Wright has a chance to check out 170, but he won't in the end. And now, one of his darts has actually bounced out of the board, so he's down to 147 only. And Nathan Aspinall here, if he can get a treble on the board, will have a chance to put himself in a good position, and he has. He's down to 75. So Peter Wright here, he's going to have to check out the 147, or else with the way Aspinall's played tonight, you'd assume he'll take out that 75 and win the match. And Wright won't be taking out the 147. So chance here for Nathan Aspinall at 75. Treble 17, double 12. Starts off with a 17. Gets an 18, so 1 dot at tops, which he doesn't get, and he's nowhere near tops. So Peter Wright will be coming back here at 87, with Aspinall coming back at tops, if not, to win what is a very good performance. So 1 dart here at double 5 for Peter Wright for 6-4, and he doesn't get it. So Aspinall with a chance to win the game. 3 darts at tops for a quality victory. First dart a little bit too high. But the second dart is in, and that is a brilliant, brilliant performance from Nathan Aspinall. And all Peter Wright can do is have a massive smile on his face, because that was a quality performance from both players, but more specifically, a quality performance tonight from Nathan Aspinall. He averaged high, his checkouts were quality, and more importantly, that is a massive 2 points on the board. And as I keep saying, at the beginning of the night, the man was 14-1 to win the tournament. I'm pretty sure that he might have just gone a little bit higher up in the odds to maybe make it through and win the competition. Of course, it's only the final 4 in the group that actually do make it through to the semi-finals. But let's quickly go over the results on the night once again before we talk about that game a little bit more. Rob Cross losing 7-5 to Gary Anderson on the night. Gary Anderson with a 94 average. Rob Cross averaging 100, but it just was a little bit too much for Rob Cross tonight. The other game saw Joseph de Souza in a 7-5 win against James Wade. Both players averaging over the 100 mark. Both players with over 70% on their checkouts. It was a really, really good performance from both players tonight. But de Souza, again, just steamrolling on in this competition as he always does. Johnny Clayton in a 7-3 defeat to Dimitri van den Bergh. 102 is what both players averaged in this game, but 16 opportunities at doubles for Clayton. Only 3 taken on the night, and that cost him in the end. Dimitri van den Bergh playing very, very well indeed. Glen Durrant and Michael van Gerwen, the poor game of the night, wasn't it? It wasn't a great game, but look, who cares? MVG got a result in the end. 7-3 win over Glen Durrant. It's another game in which MVG gets himself points on the board, and more importantly, it's another game where Glen Durrant finds himself with 0 points on the board. Hopefully, he can get something soon. And then the last game of the night saw Nathan Aspinall 7-3 victor against Peter Wright, and it was brilliant. I mean, a fantastic performance from one of the best players in the Premier League over the last 2 years. I mean, this man is fantastic. 4 180s for Aspinall at 105.2 average with 50% checkout success. It was a brilliant performance tonight, and I think one thing you always want to do, and I've said it time and time again tonight, you want to come back into the Premier League after that big 10-day break and put in a good performance. You want to get that first win on the board and get that form going again, because, you know, as we said before, there's only 4 nights this week. There's not 5. But those 4 nights will come thick and fast, and it doesn't matter what you did 10 nights ago. That's out the window. Forget about that for now. It doesn't mean anything, because you could go into these next 4 games and Peter Wright could lose all 4. MVG could have lost all 4. Anybody's form can change. It's not consistency that matters at this stage of the competition. It is form, and for Aspinall, that would be a massive confidence booster indeed. That is for sure. As for Peter Wright, you know, he comes up tomorrow against James Wade. I think that's a very good opportunity for him to go out there and try and give himself a real good confidence booster, get himself another win on the board, because, I mean, he has lost a couple of games so far and he'll be lingering around that mid-table. The last thing Peter Wright will want to do is find himself, especially the next few nights, a few points away from the top 4, because a player of his standards should definitely be up there and be in the top 4 by the end of the campaign. But yeah, really good performance in the end from Aspinall, and he should be very, very proud of what he's done there, because that would be a good confidence booster indeed. And that is the action for tonight in the Premier League of Darts. Without further ado, Should we take a look at some of the games coming up tomorrow? There's some big ones indeed. Lots of very exciting matches. And what no doubt should be a night full of quality games, including an absolute barnstormer, which will end the night. In the first game of the evening, we'll see Glen Durrant taking on Jose de Souza. Glen Durrant, of course, will be hoping he doesn't go 7 games without a victory. I mean, the special one is going to be bloody hard to beat, that's for sure. Rob Cross, he comes up against Dimitri van den Bergh. Both players in the tournament, in my opinion, haven't really had a bad game so far. Can Dimitri van den Bergh continue on his good form in the second batch of games, or will Rob Cross get his first victory of this second batch of matches even? Because like I said, for example, this is a great example. If Rob Cross doesn't win, that's 2 defeats in a row, he'll be a little bit worried, won't he? Match 3 of the evening, Nathan Aspinall up against Johnny Clayton. I mean, if you're Johnny Clayton, after that performance tonight from Nathan Aspinall, you are going to be a little bit worried, but we know what the Ferry can do. Can he bounce back after a poor performance tonight? We spoke a moment ago, of course, Peter Wright coming up against James Wade. That is a big opportunity in that game for Peter Wright to go out there and get something against the machine, although you never know with James Wade. He's a quality player indeed. And then the final match of the night. Let's hope MVG plays better, because Michael van Gerwen takes on Gary Anderson in what should hopefully be an absolute belter of a match. That is for sure. But yeah, we've got more content to come on the channel. Don't forget, over the next few days, it is a busy week on the Sports Corner. We will have a special live stream at some point this week to talk about the Super League, the positives, the negatives, and just an outright debate on the Super League itself. But the content to come over the next week includes night number 7 of the Premier League of Darts. I'll be live tomorrow from around about 7:05 for all the action. That includes MVG against Gary Anderson. And then you can also join the boys on Wednesday night. There are 4 big games going in the Bundesliga at the same time. You can join the Sports Corner team for the Matchday 30 Goals show, while we are live with the Premier League of Darts. That's night number 8. That'll be live from 7:05. You don't want to miss out on that one. And then, of course, Judgment Night on Thursday. Who will be relegated alongside Glen Durrant? We'll have to find out on what will be a massive night in the darts. Friday morning A-League Watchalongs, Melbourne Victory will be taking on the Western Sydney Wanderers. That should be an interesting game, considering Melbourne Victory lost 7-0 at the weekend in their derby. And then what a game this is on Sunday night. Olympique Lyonnais taking on Lille. It is a clash of the titans, as there are only 3 points separating the top 4 in Ligue 1. Those are 2 teams fighting for survival. Fighting to win the title is what I wanted to say at the end of the day there. So do check that out indeed. But once again, a massive thank you to everybody tonight for taking part and joining along with the stream. Don't forget, I will be tweeting out tomorrow the Super 6 pot. Nobody won it tonight. No one has won it, which therefore means the Super 6 prize pot will move up. It will roll over to £10 tomorrow. So if you do want to play, I will be tweeting it out, of course, on social media. Make your predictions for tomorrow's games. You need to put the exact score predictions for the match, as well as how many 180s in the whole session, for a chance to win £10 as we have a rollover. Very exciting indeed. But as for now, I hope you guys have a fantastic morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are. Don't forget to leave a like and subscription if you haven't already, if you have enjoyed the stream. And we'll see you tomorrow night from 7 o'clock. Let's hope there's some more good games. See you later.